When Naji heard Hester's shout and turned his head to take a look, he too noticed that Qianlai had arrived before he knew it. "Qianlai, please help us," he begged loudly as well. Serene, the famous Black Tulip of Suluo realm, was clad in black armor, but the armor pieces around her chest area had been torn apart by a hurricane dragon devil. Her soft, white breasts could be seen through the crumbling chest armor. Two narrow, long wounds had marred Serene's beautiful legs as well. Her face was filled with fear, shock, and despair. It was clear that she had recognized the deadly circumstances surrounding them. She understood that it was highly unlikely that they would be able to escape the rank 8 giant scorpion devil with their remaining strength. She shivered subconsciously when, as she stared at her mutilated clansmen, her face grew paler and paler. Nearly all of her clansmen had been left without an intact corpse. Decapitation was a common way to die here. Their appearance had almost been too much for her to bear, and she came close to breaking down on the spot when she thought that she would soon face the same fate. Suddenly, she remembered the Dark Soul Beast. Not long ago, when she was brought in front of Qianlai's Soul Beast avatar, the creature had asked her if she was willing to become its soul servant. The Dark Soul Beast had even laid out the benefits she would gain in detail, such as a massive boost of soul energy in just a short time, and new secret arts. If she agreed to become its soul servant, her strength would definitely grow by leaps and bounds. Of course, the price for these benefits was a wisp of her soul origin. She would lose her freedom in exchange for strength. At the time, she had ultimately rejected the Dark Soul Beast's offer after a long period of consideration because she preferred to have freedom. Between strength and freedom, she had considered freedom to be the better choice. But after watching her clansmen being killed by the Abyss Devils one after another, wailing in fear and despair, after seeing Hester covered in blood, and after hearing the same fear and despair in his voice, she suddenly regretted having made this decision. Suddenly, she realized that she should have increased her strength no matter the cost if she truly wished to survive in the Abyss and grow stronger through the Abyss Devils. She should have given up everything, even her so-called freedom, if that was her goal. She started regretting the decision she had made back then. "Qianlai, please tell Lord Dark Soul Beast that I'm willing to become his soul servant if he will save us this one time," Serene spoke up suddenly. She had never stopped believing that Qianlai was a soul servant of the Dark Soul Beast, just like Curtis. She had learned a couple of soul race secret arts during the time the rank 10 Dark Soul Beasts was under her possession. That was why she knew that there was a mysterious soul connection between the Dark Soul Beast and its soul servant. She knew that Qianlai could transmit her message to the Dark Soul Beast. Hester, Naji, and the few surviving Cullen family members didn't try to dissuade Serene. Maybe they would have objected to Serene's submission in the past, but now they all thought that this was their only chance at surviving this crisis. They all thought that their survival lay in Qianlai's willingness to contact the Dark Soul Beast or the other soul servants such as Curtis to help them. None of them thought that Qianlai had had the strength to help them. This was evident from the fact that Hester and Naji had requested Qianlai to contact the Dark Soul Beast or Curtis to save them. Most of them were aware of the strange connection that existed between a soul servant and their master. "I'll help you one last time because of the Dark Soul Beast's soul fragment you turned in and the Dark Soul Beast's skull that was accidentally destroyed while it was still with me." Qianlai shot a glance at the disheveled-looking Serene while frowning. "If the Cullen family still cannot survive in the Frost Desolation Abyss after all this, I would advise you to leave this place while you still can." He flew straight towards the giant scorpion devil after saying this. "You're going to fight that giant scorpion devil alone?" Serene turned pale at this revelation. "You can't be serious?" Naji was stunned as well. In their eyes, Qianlai was at best their equal, a Nirvana realm martial practitioner or rank 7 bloodline expert. The strongest opponent he could take on was a rank 7 hurricane dragon devil at most. However, a rank 8 giant scorpion devil was a difficult opponent even for a human imperishable realm martial practitioner or a rank 8 demon dragon. So where the hell did Qianlai's confidence come from? They didn't know that Qianlai had been tempered by his experience at the Origin World. They also didn't know that he had refined an Origin crystal into his soul altar and ascended to the imperishable realm. Moreover, His bloodline had also reached rank 8 after absorbing a couple of powerful bloodlines. Now that he was an imperishable real martial practitioner and his bloodline was rank 8 perfect blood, he was a completely changed man. Serene and Naji had no idea that Qianlai's strength was far beyond their expectations and not something a mere rank 8 giant scorpion devil could defeat. Ice Stone Twister. Qianlai calmly summoned his frost power while imagining the frost concept diagram inside his soul altar. The frost spirit power inside his Dantian spirit sea started surging like a tidal wave and causing his body to release an icy mist. The deadly frost aura seemed to resonate with the natural laws of the frost desolation abyss itself. Countless gigantic ice blades suddenly appeared out of nowhere. The ice blades started twisting and turning until they became a violent tornado of ice. It instantly enveloped the giant scorpion devil like a giant hole in the sky. At the same time, Qianlai's god race bloodline was also mobilized. Frost concept spilled out of his bloodline and entered the eye of the frost tornado. It seemed to have empowered the natural disaster even more. Kakaka! An explosion of screeching noises exited the ice hurricane. The rank 8 giant scorpion devil suddenly let out a yell in the language of the abyss after realizing that it was in danger. The giant scorpion devil and its subordinates started moving away from the incoming storm. Even Hester, who was fighting the giant scorpion devil, had noticed the approaching tornado and the laws of absolute frost it contained. Hester's expression changed drastically. He opened his mouth to yell, but his voice was quickly drowned by the noise of the tornado. He could do nothing but watch the approaching tornado overcome him. To Hester, the tornado was like a world of frost of its own. A deadly realm that froze all living beings in ice before killing them. His bloodline, his soul, and even his consciousness gradually became frozen by the frost concept. One final thought lingered in Hester's mind just before he turned into an ice sculpture. He actually mastered laws of the Great Way of Frost. The life signs of Hester, the 3 familiar Cullen family members, and the Abyss Devils who had tried to escape suddenly vanished altogether. A thick white mist had completely surrounded the affected area. When Serene and Naji tried to probe the white mist with their soul consciousness, they both had shivered in surprising coldness. The brother and sister couldn't help but pull their clothes closer. They seemed to feel chilled by the amazing frost power. Not far away, a couple Cullen family members were looking anxious and frightened right next to Serene and Naji. They were also shooting confused glances at the misty area. The only person they could see there was Qianlai. Meanwhile, Qianlai was standing in front of the mist with a dazed look on his face. He seemed to be absorbed in a strange trance and didn't recover. Frost art, frost spirit energy, and the bloodline power of the profound ice family. When these keys are gathered as one, the frost concept and bloodline secret seem to fuse together to form a... He muttered to himself as his expression grew stranger and stranger. From the beginning, he had planned to create an ice tornado with the frost energy in the frost concept diagram to kill the giant scorpion devil. However, when he activated it, his god race bloodline had released its own surge of frost energy. When the frost energies all joined into one, they evolved into a world of absolute frost that enveloped the Abyss Devils, Hester, and the Cullen family members altogether. Naji and Serene couldn't see what was going on inside the mist because it was blocking their vision, but did notice that the Abyss Devils and Hester had turned into ice sculptures. The giant scorpion devil was a rank 8 Abyss Devil, and Hester was an Azura race 3-level soul altar expert. Who knew that the Ice Emperor's frost arts and the God race's profound ice family bloodline could fuse with each other? And this power, it is far beyond my expectations. He looked dazed while he was saying this. What amazing frost power! Sala of the Bone Race exclaimed softly. As an outsider, he had witnessed Qianlai unleashing his frost powers and conjuring an ice tornado. After that, traces of blue light containing the profound ice family's bloodline secrets suddenly flew out from Qianlai's body and entered the tornado as well. The addition of the blue light had caused the ice tornado to undergo a huge transformation. The tornado had evolved into a frigid world that seeming contained the natural laws of a frost world. Although it was similar to the profound ice family's ice world, it was deadlier in certain ways. After that, An endless mist of ice flooded everything and blinded him from the truth. The only thing he knew was that every living creature inside that mist besides Qianlai had lost all signs of life. Their soul, their bloodline and their consciousness had been completely frozen. Their life or death was for Qianlai to decide. This guy's growing stronger and stronger, and his secrets just keep getting deeper and more unfathomable, Salah thought to himself. Meanwhile, Naji had made his way to Qianlai slowly. The closer he got to Qianlai, the more violently he shivered. For whatever reason, he felt like the surrounding temperature was getting colder and colder. Qianlai, Naji asked after he had gotten close enough to make himself heard. How is my uncle? Sarine's hair seemed to be covered in a layer of ice. Her beautiful face was filled with amazement, and her eyes were glowing brightly. How did he become so powerful in such a short time? It must have been the dark soul beast. Sarine's breathing grew rapid, causing a wavy ripple across her chest. Even her gaze on Qianlai had grown more and more meaningful over time. When Sarine first got to know Qianlai, both his realm and bloodline had been quite a bit weaker compared to hers. That was why she had naturally assumed that Qianlai was a soul servant of the dark soul beast just like Curtis. In the past, she had even felt superior to Qianlai because she thought that he was ultimately just a glorified puppet. Compared to him, she at least still had her own freedom. That was why she had thought herself to be better than him. However, when she met him again, he had grown so much stronger than even the giant scorpion devil, and the abyss devils weren't able to escape the frost mist. It hadn't even been a long time since she last saw him. Qianlai's incredible growth had largely diminished her feeling of superiority. Again, she had attributed Qianlai's growth to the dark soul beast's gift. If you can grow so much in such a short time through the dark soul beast, then I should be able to. Sarine's eyes shone brightly. ZZZT. As white mist leaked out of the frozen space behind Qianlai, the abyss devils and Hester's frozen figures slowly came into view. The frosty air seemed to have gone back into Qianlai's body. Naji, whose teeth had been chattering all this time, finally came back to himself after the frosty air had disappeared. Then, his expression changed when he saw the frozen Hester. Qianlai, is my uncle all right? Behind Qianlai, the giant scorpion devil and the Cullen family members' souls, bloodlines, and minds had all been frozen. Naji's shout broke Qianlai out of his own thoughts as he turned back to look at Hester and the other Cullen family members. An icy flash passed through his eyes, and the mysterious frost concept spread out from him and enveloped Hester and the Cullen family members. Wisps of frosty air seeped out of their bodies and went back into Qianlai's body. Cough, cough, cough. Some time later, Hester was the first one to break out of his trance and cough loudly. The rest of the Cullen family members had also recovered after the frost energies had flown out of their bodies. The giant scorpion devil and the abyss devils remained frozen as a matter of course. He's fine, Qianlai replied. I'm fine, young master. Hester inhaled deeply before he walked to Qianlai with the rescued Cullen family members. Thank you. Qianlai waved a hand and said, From here on, my debt to your family is completely repaid. I will not be lending you a hand if you run into another situation like this at the Frost Desolation Abyss. Understand? Understood, Hester replied with mixed emotions. His first encounter with Qianlai had been on Flaming Sun Island when Qianlai had just returned from the Graveyard of Gods. At the time, Qianlai's realm was so low that he had thought nothing of Qianlai. In fact, if Lei Yan wasn't there with him, he might have robbed Qianlai of his spirits of void and chaos back then. Back in those days, Hester had been infamous for his ferocity and strength. He had led an Azura race invasion into the Land of Chaos and triggered a bloody war between Suluo Realm and the Silver Rank factions. He would never have expected someone like Qianlai to make it this far. However, several decades had passed since then, and Qianlai had slowly but surely made a foothold for himself at Flaming Sun Island through the war against the three ghoul races. After that, Qianlai ventured deep into Baluo Realm and slowly evolved Flaming Sun Island into the most powerful force in the Land of Chaos. Today, Qianlai's influence had spread even beyond the Land of Chaos and Baluo Realm. Somehow, he had managed to take root in the Frost Desolation Abyss. It was a near-impossible list of achievements. But what surprised him even more was that Qianlai had grown strong enough to freeze a rank 8 giant scorpion devil with ease. His terrifying growth had far surpassed his initial predictions of Qianlai. Hester couldn't help but feel bitter as he looked at the youth. He almost felt like he had traveled through time. "You can have these abyss devils." Qianlai shot a glance at Hester and Naji. "Take care." After that, he flew away and tried to continue on his journey towards the Abyss Channel. However, he had just flown for a couple hundred meters before he came to a stop and looked behind him with an unfriendly look. "Why are you following me?" "Qianlai, I'll be taking my leave. I don't wish to waste any more time." Sala snorted once before he went away in a flash of white beam. Serene of the Cullen family slowly revealed herself after Sala was gone. Can you please bring a message to Lord Dark Soul Beast? Please tell him that I've thought things through, and I'm willing to become his sole servant." Serene bit her lips as if she had finally made up her mind. "As long as I can obtain greater power, I'm willing to surrender my freedom and serve him as my master. I promise that one day I'll become chief of the Azura race, and that the entire Azura race will answer to his beck and call when my strength is sufficient." Qianlai suddenly froze with indecision. At first, he was going to turn down Serene's request without any hesitation. But after Serene had voiced her promise, the light of thoughtfulness entered his eyes. "Chief of the Azura race." Qianlai let out a cold snort and stared at her in suspicion. "Wouldn't Curtis and the others be more suitable than you to become the chief? They are already at the late stage of the Void Realm. Once they ascend to the Genesis Realm, and their bloodline reaches rank 10, they will all have a shot to become chief of the Azura race. Why would Lord Dark Soul Beast choose you when he already has all the candidates he needs? You've been tempering yourself in the Frost Desolation Abyss for quite some time already, but you still are in the Nirvana Realm and rank 7 Azura race bloodline. How long would we have to wait until you are chief of the Azura race? Do you really think that Lord Dark Soul Beast has that much patience? I have an advantage over Curtis and his henchmen because I'm a member of the Cullen family. Although my family has declined, that doesn't change the fact that we are one of the most ancient Azura race families." Serene pondered for a moment before continuing. "Normally speaking, only the strongest of the ancient families are given the opportunity to claim the seat of power that is the chief of the Azura race." Before Qianlai could retort, she added, "Also, our family had once served the Blaze family of the God race, and a lot of trust had been placed in them. I heard that the God race has already made contact with us, and it is only a matter of time they will invade Spirit Realm en masse. From what I heard in the Frost Desolation Abyss, the native races of Spirit Realm are no match for the God race, so Spirit Realm is certain to fall into their hands once more. That may be a golden opportunity for my Cullen family. We may be able to regain our status as the #1 family of the Azura race with the God race's aid. Also, I've been holding the rank 10 Dark Soul Beast skull since young. My soul is exceptionally compatible to his secret arts. If I'm given the opportunity to become his sole servant, if I can learn some real soul secret arts from him, I believe that I may improve massively as a result. At the very least, I don't think that I'll fall behind your current pace." Her last comment caught Qianlai slightly by surprise before his expression turned mocking. "Why should I help you when you clearly think of me as a competitor?" Serene hesitated for a moment before she started taking off her armor and clothes. Soon, she was standing completely naked in front of Qianlai as she bowed her head and said, "If you can help me become his sole servant, I can be yours right away." Serene was known as the Black Tulip in Suluo Realm. She was the goddess in many Azura race youngsters' dreams, and she was famous not just in Suluo Realm, but also the Azura Realm. The descendants of Azura race's ancient families all coveted the beautiful Serene. In fact, many young noble warriors had searched Suluo Realm high and low for her after the place had fallen into their hands. When they heard that Serene and the Cullen family had escaped Suluo Realm, the Azura race warriors had even ventured deep into Spirit Realm in search for her. Serene was a flower that shook the hearts of every man in the Azura race. Right now, the Black Tulip, who was coveted by countless young Azura race clansmen, had discarded her black armor and stood naked right in front of Qin Lai. Serene was a tall woman. Even Qin Lai was only slightly taller than her. Her body was firm and muscular due to constant fighting. Her breasts were impressively huge, and her legs were long and attractive. At the beginning, Qin Lai had a taunting expression on his face. However, he froze suddenly after Serene had taken off her clothes and stood in front of him naked. He narrowed his eyes and allowed his gaze to swim across Serene's naked body slowly. Occasionally, he would click his tongue in wonder while commenting, "Not bad. Not bad at all. Huge breasts, a thin waist, a pair of long legs." Serene was bowing her head in embarrassment until she heard his humiliating comments. Then, she suddenly looked up at him with anger. "Can you give me an answer already?" "Answer?" The corner of Qin Lai's lips lifted. "What answer?" Serene's face turned cold as she suddenly put on a new set of black armor once more. "If you can help me contact Lord Dark Soul Beast and help me become his sole servant, I promise that I will become yours today, but only today. This offer wouldn't even exist if you hadn't saved us." "What if I don't agree?" Qin Lai smiled. "In that case, we no longer owe each other anything." Serene let out a soft snort. "You've seen me naked, and that is your reward for saving us, and so ends our relationship with each other. Once I've returned to Lord Dark Soul Beast's territory, I will ask Curtis and the others to take my message to become a soul servant to him." Serene knew that the Dark Soul Beast's original name was Kadak, and she had never stopped believing that Kadak was the ruler of this multiracial territory. Even now, she simply thought of Qin Lai as one of the more important pawns among Kadak's soul servants. She thought that Qin Lai might be even more important to the Dark Soul Beast than Curtis. It was because she could sense a trace of the Dark Soul Beast's unique soul presence from him. That was why she had thought that asking Qin Lai's help to carry her message to the Dark Soul Beast was more useful than asking Curtis or the others. That was why she was willing to pay the price with her own body. If Qin Lai had turned her down, she would still return to Curtis to achieve her objective. Having witnessed Qin Lai's current strength, Serene had decided to do everything she could to become the Dark Soul Beast's soul servant. She wished to obtain great power in a short amount of time and gather enough strength for the Cullen family to face the future just like Qin Lai. "I see. In that case, you may seek out Curtis for your request," Qin Lai said indifferently before turning away. What a foolish woman. However, he paused when a woman's voice had suddenly reached them from afar. An instant later, a purple light had descended right next to Qin Lai and transformed into Enos. A high-rank abyss devil. Serene's expression changed. Right now, Hester, Naji, and the Cullen family members were busy dealing with the frozen rank 8 giant scorpion devil and the frozen rank 7 abyss devils. Serene thought that Enos had shown up for the giant scorpion devils and the abyss devils because they had been her subordinates or something. She thought that Enos had shown up to take revenge for them. Enos was clad in purple combat gear, and she was even more attractive and charming than Serene was. The natural air of nobility and pride as a high-rank abyss devil she exuded also made her stand out compared to Serene. Enos was barefooted as she stood next to Qin Lai while staring meaningfully at Serene with her purple eyes. Suddenly, she said, "To think that she would offer her body as a condition. How does she not know that your seed is capable of bringing her and her entire race to a whole new level?" Serene was completely confused. She had no idea what Enos meant. However, it seemed obvious that Enos and Qin Lai knew each other well. At the very least, they didn't look like sworn enemies. How did a soul servant of Lord Kadax become affiliated with a high-rank abyss devil? Serene was very puzzled. "How did you find me?" Qin Lai frowned. "Sala happened to run into me while he was heading to the abyss passageway. He told me about you and so I came," Enos explained. A moment later, she asked suddenly, "Are you heading to the abyss passageway? I recently heard that there's a black hole that leads into spirit realm there. Are you here for that black hole? How did you know about that?" Qin Lai's expression changed. The news had spread to many people already. I don't know who was the first leak, but I'm certain that most high-rank abyss devils are already aware of it, considering even I know. I'm also sure that many Abyss Devils had made the connection between this news and the news about the great secret hidden deep in Spirit Realm already. They must all be getting restless, Enos replied. Qin Lai's expression was dark and gloomy, his patience suddenly evaporating into thin air. He told Serene, "You should leave as soon as possible. Girl, you'll never know what kind of price me and my family have to pay in order to acquire his seed. Moreover, you seriously believe that you're the one who gets the shorter end of the stick by surrendering your body." "What a joke," Enos said mockingly. Serene was still completely confused. Losing all interest in Serene, Qin Lai started moving towards the abyss passageway. It didn't take long for him to vanish before Serene's gaze completely. After Qin Lai had left the place, Enos's eyes suddenly turned cold and merciless. Even her smile had turned sharp and icy. Serene couldn't help but shiver in fright. A terrifying killing intent was leaking out of the young Abyss Devil's body, and it was all she needed to tell that Enos was greatly tempted to kill her right here and now. She suddenly realized that Qin Lai's presence was the only thing that shielded her from harm just now. "A lowly Azura race clansman like you wishes to claim his seed?" A while later, Enos uttered coldly, "Luckily for you, you seem to have no interest in him whatsoever. Otherwise, you'd be dead already." After that, Enos let out one final snort before she went after Qin Lai as a beam of purple light. Serene, frozen in a daze, stayed in the same place, her face a picture of shock and fear. A while later, Enos caught up to Qin Lai and said obediently, "My father has requested me to accompany you to the Abyss Passageway. I shall be aiding you in all matters no matter what." It was as if Enos had transformed into an entirely different person. The cold-heartedness and determination she had displayed when she was standing in front of Serene was completely gone. The only thing she showed Qin Lai was infinite gentleness and total obedience. "Do you know why I'm heading to the Abyss Passageway?" Qin Lai asked in a heavy tone. "Nope." Enos shook her head before replying carelessly, "I don't really care. But whatever it is you're planning, I promise that I'll do my best to support you." Qin Lai looked astonished. He could still remember the first time he saw Enos. She had been a bossy and arrogant woman who had never given him face even at the origin world. However, her attitude today was a complete turnaround compared to how she had acted before. He actually found her infinite tenderness towards him a bit difficult to get used to. Enos smiled beautifully like a blooming flower at the sight of his astonishment. "I want you to grow powerful, and your bloodline to become more perfect than ever before. That way, I'll be able to reap the greatest benefit from you. You're different from how I remember you to be," Qin Lai said while frowning. "What's past is past. Why would I treat you the same way I did when we're no longer enemies?" Enos smiled at him. Qin Lai nodded and stopped talking. He turned his attention back to the Abyss Passageway. Enos followed him closely from behind. Normally, it was impossible to travel all the way to the Abyss Passageway without running into a single Abyss Devil in the process. However, no one had really tried to stop him or Enos, probably because Enos was the direct descendant of the great lord of the Frost Desolation Abyss, Dawson. As a result, Qin Lai was able to reach the Abyss Passageway without any issues. The gigantic Abyss Passageway looked like a hurricane that connected heaven and earth. It was a passage that linked the Frost Desolation Abyss to all other abyss levels. Qin Lai stood near the entrance and felt waves of terrible energy emanating from inside. His expression gradually turned serious. "It seems like there are a lot of Abyss Devils operating inside the Abyss Passageway as of late. Why are they here? Are they all searching for that black hole that leads straight to Spirit Realm?" Qin Lai asked. "That seems to be the case." Enos thought to herself before saying, "There has been a lot of rumors regarding Spirit Realms circulating throughout all of the Abyss levels recently. I think someone has been spreading these rumors on purpose. It is said that the ultimate secret of the universe is hidden deep within Spirit Realm, and that piqued the interest of some Abyss Devils." She paused for a moment before wrinkling her brows. "You should know that we, the Abyss Devils, aren't really all that interested in the outside world. Our own world, 108 levels in total, is plenty big already, and we don't really enjoy exploring worlds that have no Abyss Devil energy whatsoever. Spirit Realm is one such place. It is completely devoid of abyss devil energy, and there is literally no reason for us to travel of our own accord there unless there is something that really piques our interest. Even for hunting, we still would have chosen a different realm with stronger foes in them. Spirit realm is just too weak for us. Enos shook her head as she said this. In her eyes, the flesh of a spirit realm natives might not even be worthy of filling the gap between her teeth. The god race thinks that spirit realm is their exclusive property, so it's unlikely for them to be the ones who spread the rumors. It has to be someone else, Qianlai said sternly. Suddenly, Great Master Xianxia popped into his mind. Great Master Xianxia was a spirit race clansman who had stayed in Sky-bearing City for the past 300 years. Hence, he was quite familiar with spirit realm. Considering that the god race was about to show up, could it be that Great Master Xianxia was planning to damage their plans and grab a piece of the pie for himself? Was the purpose behind the rumors to spread chaos in spirit realm? Have you heard of a spirit race expert called Great Master Xianxia? The idea of asking Enos' opinion about this suddenly entered his mind. Great Master Xianxia? Enos thought carefully before shaking her head. I've never heard of such a person, but I can ask Father about this right away. Luckily for us, we haven't left the Frost Desolation Abyss yet, so I can communicate with my father anytime using a Bloodline secret art. She closed her eyes as her bloodline slowly grew active. Silent waves of soul energy rolled off her body, and a while later she opened her eyes and said, My father said that there is no one called Great Master Xianxia, Heaven Abandonment, in the spirit race, but there is a great sage called Xianxia, Heaven Enlightenment. That great sage is well versed in the most mysterious arts the spirit race has, the arts of fate, and even the chief of the spirit race himself treats him with great respect. He is the one who has been guiding the entire spirit race from the shadows all this time. Great sage Xianxia? Qianlai's eyes lit up. The qi in both Xianxia's might share the same intonation, but they were in fact two different words. Even better, they were both well-versed in the mysterious arts of fate. At this moment, Qianlai was almost 100% certain that Great Master Xianxia was none other than the great sage of the spirit race, Xianxia. What kind of a person is he? Qianlai asked seriously. According to my father, Great Sage Xianxia is a wise man among the spirit race. Much of their strategic decisions are formulated by him, Enos said while staring at the abyss passageways. In fact, it seems like he was the one who captured the demon spirits of space and time living in the abyss passageway, took them back to his homeworld and converted them into demon pets. The demon spirit of space and time? Qianlai was momentarily confused by the name. It's the creature your people coined, eight-eyed demon spirit. Enos thought for a moment before explaining. The demon spirits of space and time may be born in the abyss passageway, but they are one of the strangest life forms in the entire universe. It seems that their bloodline system is different from us abyss devils. My father said that the black holes existing in the abyss passageways right now had all been created by the demon spirits of space and time a long time ago. This strange race loves to connect the abyss passageway to different realms, and they are the reason why the abyss passageway became a galactic-level spatial hub that is connected to nearly infinite number of worlds in space. Unfortunately, they were ultimately captured by the spirit race and converted into their demon pets. The person who transformed the demon spirits of time and space into the pets, eight-eyed demon spirits, is none other than Great Sage Xianxia of the spirit race. Him, the previous Blaze family patriarch Lian Yuan, and the Soul Race's imperial soul monarch are known as the three great mentors of blood and soul. Qianlai shivered once before murmuring, Lian Yuan, imperial soul monarch. Finally, his maternal grandfather's true name, Lian Yuan, was revealed to him. This was also the first time he heard of the title Mentor of Blood and Soul. What are the three great mentors of blood and soul? He asked. According to my father, it is a title granted to the distinguished with the deepest knowledge regarding their respective bloodline system and the soul, Enos answered. What else do you know? Qianlai pressed her further. This time Enos shook her head and said, That was all my father had told me. I'm just repeating his words. He said that you can ask him again if you have further questions once you've returned from the Abyss passageway. Also, he's cultivating right now, and the reason I can communicate with him briefly is because his blood flows through my veins. But even then, this connection cannot last too long in his current state. All right, Xianxia gave up. He inhaled deeply before zipping towards the Abyss passageway like a bolt of lightning. Enos hesitated for a second before activating her bloodline power. Only then did she carefully enter as well. Inside the Abyss passageway, many mysterious beams of light could be seen flying through the wide passage, along countless light dots sparkling like stars. Sometimes they would explode intensely after some fierce vibrations. The instantaneous, extraordinarily powerful impact of the explosions could kill even a rank 7 Abyss Devil. There were hundreds of millions of black holes inside the mysterious Abyss passageway. There were also all kinds of spatial nodes, strange spacetime gaps, light beams, light specks, distorted and unstable spatial currents, and sudden, intense explosions. Normally, only a rank 9 Abyss Devil could travel the Abyss passageway with relative safety. Even the weaker clansmen of the God race, the Spirit race, and the Soul race had to be escorted by a rank 9 senior if they wished to travel through the black holes, enter the Abyss passageway, and make way to other Abyss levels. In reality, it was most dangerous for a rank 8 expert like Xianxia to use the Abyss passageway. The dangers that might occur any second could easily kill a rank 8 bloodline expert instantly, and even wipe out their very soul. Moreover, it was entirely possible to run into other experts inside the Abyss passageway and be killed if they were unlucky. Inside the Abyss passageway, Xianxia floated quietly while activating his 8-eyed demon spirit bloodline. Gentle blue slowly rippled off his body in a circular pattern before wrapping around him like a sheen of ice. When the blue light screen became fully formed, he felt like his soul was at peace all of a sudden. He also felt like he had returned home for some reason. The last time he was brought here by Lian Yang, he had felt something similar while hiding inside the fiery man's flame world. Just now, he got confirmation from Enos that the 8-eyed demon spirit or demon spirit of time and space really was born in this place. When Xianxia had activated the 8-eyed demon spirit's bloodline, he was completely exposed and void of protection. However, the terrifying spatial vibrations and tiny but deadly explosions moved away from him as if they had a mind of their own, even though he wasn't doing anything at all. This discovery greatly surprised him. It looks like you have the demon spirit of time and space's bloodline in you. Else there would be no way for you to hang around this place in such a calm fashion. Enos's purple figure appeared beside him suddenly. She was wrapped inside a dark purple light shield, and she was staring at Xianxia with amazement in her eyes. After she had returned from the origin world, her father Dawson helped her ascend to rank 8 bloodline. However, it wasn't enough to unconditionally survive in the Abyss passageway. It was entirely possible for a sudden phenomenon to kill her instantly. The last time she had used the Abyss passageway, she had been escorted all the way to the Darkness Abyss by a rank 9 Lord of the Frost Desolation Abyss. But this time, there was no one around to escort her. Her father hadn't made such an arrangement either. That was why she had hesitated for a moment prior to entering the Abyss passageway. It was because she was aware what kind of danger awaited her inside. In the end, she chose to enter the Abyss passageway. At first, she thought that Xianxia would be treading every step with caution just like her. However, she immediately noticed that Xianxia was surrounded by a blue halo the moment she entered the Abyss passageway. Even stranger was the fact that the terrifying light beams, the occasional explosions, and the distorted spatial powers were moving away from him unnaturally. When the moment of surprise was over, Enos finally understood why Xianxia had felt no fear when he had entered to the Abyss passageway. "If you don't mind, can I move closer to you?" She smiled at him and said, "I may have evolved to rank 8 already, but I cannot lower my guard even for a second or risk those deadly natural disasters getting close to me. On the other hand, you and the space around you are clearly a safe zone. I wouldn't be harmed by the dangers inside the Abyss passageway as long as I stay close to you." Xianxia nodded with his eyes shut because he was searching for the black hole that led to Spirit Realm with his 8-eyed demon spirit bloodline. Enos let out a secret sigh of relief and carefully moved closer to Xianxia. However, she exclaimed in surprise as her purple wings suddenly extended in full before wrapping around her tightly. It was because the light beams and distorted spatial powers had suddenly and consciously surging towards her. It would appear that the natural disasters and restrictions that existed everywhere inside the Abyss passageway were protecting Qianlai. They wouldn't allow anyone to disturb his peace. Enos had no choice but to flap her wings and spend even more bloodline power to defend herself from the strange energies surging towards her. "Qianlai!" she shouted. Qianlai finally snapped out of his reverie and turned to shoot her a glance. Once he realized the weirdness that was happening around him, he pointed a finger at Enos and shot a bit of blue starlight straight at her purple wings. The starlight was in fact a drop of his own blood. The blood was imprinted with the eight-eyed demon spirit's bloodline energy and ice-blue bloodline crystal. Miraculously, after the starlight had become attached to Enos's wings, the light dots and distorted spatial powers that threatened to overwhelm Enos suddenly faded away like tidewater. Enos was very astonished. This time, when she walked towards Qianlai once more, the strange energies scattered around Qianlai didn't try to target her again and moved away on their own. She subconsciously stared at the blue starlight that was attached to her wing. The rice-sized starlight was in fact a drop of shining blood. It had the eight-eyed demon spirit's unique presence in it, and it seemed to be protecting her in secret. Her eyes grew more and more joyful as she moved closer towards Qianlai while still staring at the starlight. The God race bloodline, the Abyss Devil race bloodline, the Demon Spirit of Time and Space bloodline. Just how many bloodline systems does he have? If those bloodline systems can all evolve to near perfection, and if I can truly become pregnant from his life seed, would my child eventually become an overlord that can rule all of the Abyss? The more she thought about it, the brighter her eyes became. "I found it," Qianlai suddenly declared. "Found what?" Enos snapped out of her daydream. She was right next to Qianlai, and since her wing had a drop of Qianlai's blood on it, she was no longer threatened by the natural disasters of the Abyss passageway. "I found the black hole that connects this place to Spirit Realm," Qianlai said darkly. "The reason I'm here is to destroy that black hole and prevent more Abyss Devils from entering Spirit Realm." "Ah!" Enos exclaimed in surprise. "But according to my knowledge, a lot of Abyss Devils are planning to enter Spirit Realm through that black hole. I doubt you'll be able to destroy that black hole right in front of all those Abyss Devils without any complications. Moreover, it's very possible that a lord or even a great lord of the Abyss is staying near the black hole. That's not a problem. That black hole was created through my bloodline power, so naturally that I have ways to erase it from the Abyss passageway." Qianlai grinned confidently at her. "We are in the Abyss passageway, and the demon spirit of time and space's bloodline flows in my veins. To a demon spirit of time and space, destroying a black hole it had created itself is an incredibly simple task. There is no one who will be able to stop it." "Oh, I see," Enos replied. "Shattered Ice Realm. Currently, the Spirit Realm experts led by Pei Dehong were waiting at the periphery instead of attacking the God race. Despair Devil King and Terror Devil King had left Shattered Ice Realm a long time ago, and the Ice Emperor had gone away as well. Although the giant dragon Affleck hounded the group day and night to attack Shattered Ice Realm, his attempts were rejected by Pei Dehong again and again. Affleck was close to running out of patience. Affleck knew that a great number of his clansmen was still trapped by the profound Ice family. If they could defeat the enemy, then his clansmen would surely be set free from captivity. However, Pei Dehong was worried that there would be more God race experts waiting for them inside Shattered Ice Realm. That was why he didn't allow Affleck to act recklessly. The reason Pei Dehong gave him was that they should wait for a reply from Skymender Palace and the Ji family and confirm their stance regarding Qianlai. One day, a realm entrance finally appeared inside a cave at the periphery of Shattered Ice Realm. Kong Kuan stepped out of the portal and stopped respectfully before Pei Dehong. He said, "Skymender Palace and the Ji family has seen the image that was captured using the heaven-reflecting divine mirror." Pei Dehong's spirit lifted up. "What is their answer then?" Kong Kuan's face suddenly darkened, and he shook his head despite everyone's hopeful looks. "The Ji family and Skymender Palace promises to treat the Qin family as an enemy if they are truly colluding with the God race. However, They claim that the evidence we provided only proves that Qinlai and Profound Ice family are in some sort of relationship. Pei Dehong's expression turned dark when he heard this. How dare they take such a vague stance even though the evidence is clear for everyone to see? Hongju exploded in fury. How can the Ji family, Skymender Palace, and the ancient beast race be so foolish when the Profound Ice family has already established themselves in Shattered Ice Realm? Truly disappointing. An Azura race rank 10 bloodline expert was just about to speak up when his expression suddenly changed drastically. A few other Azura race experts had turned pale white as well. A message seemed to have reached them at the same time. Those two Devil Kings are moving towards our Azura realm. That was the only sentence the leader of the Azura race group left behind to Pei Dehong and Affleck before he and the rest of the warriors left Shattered Ice Realm. They hadn't even looked back once at their allies. Affleck looked absolutely ashen. The remaining experts gathered at this place looked hesitant as well. Meanwhile, at the Profound Ice family's 2 starships, Han Che was wearing a serious expression on his face. If one were to look hard enough, they might even catch a glimpse of worry in his eyes. "Have we not managed to contact our people yet?" he asked in a heavy tone. Bing Hui shook his head in puzzlement. "It's strange. None of the messages we've sent to the spatial passage have gotten any replies. Logically speaking, they should have received our messages and responded a long time ago." A moment of hesitation later, he added, "Also, those who went into the spatial passage haven't returned as well." Han Che pondered for a moment before ordering, "In that case, I want you to soul probe the spatial passage and find out what's going on. I don't know why, but I've been having a bad feeling as of late. Also, Mia hasn't returned from her excursion with Qinlai even though it's been a long time already." "Mia should be fine, right?" Bing Hui exclaimed. "She is. I can sense her life presence, her soul presence, and even her current location. It's vague, however. Wherever she is, it should be quite far away from where we are now." Han Che frowned. "Still, I should have been able to contact her through the soul after I executed my bloodline secret art if she were in spirit realm." "You can't contact her?" Bing Hui's expression changed. "Amen." Han Che nodded. "Investigate the spatial passage first. If something really has happened to it, then we will need to use that abyss entrance and seek out the black holes we've concealed inside the abyss passageway. It will enable us to communicate with the other families and secure us a path of retreat. I will arrange our men to guard that abyss entrance right away," Bing Hui promised. Inside the abyss passageway, Qinlai glowed like a blue light ball as he and Enos fell towards their destination. Qinlai's surrounding was filled with violent starbursts, strange light beams, and spatial gaps that opened and closed instantly. All these natural disasters terrified Enos greatly. She had no choice but to stick close to Qinlai. Growing calmer and calmer, Qinlai obeyed the sensation of his bloodline and continued to drop down the abyss passageway. ZZZT. Suddenly, a purple fog appeared at the distance and revealed the vague outline of a gigantic abyss devil. The abyss devil was covered in sharp, sinister-looking spikes from head to toe like a porcupine. Its hands were shaped like sharp claws, and its pupils were shining with the light of bloodthirst and cruelty. "That's a rank 9 spike devil. It's probably from the extermination abyss. We would do well to avoid him," Enos said quietly. "Rank 9. Qinlai had frowned immediately after he saw the rank 9 abyss devil. Naturally, he had no intentions of provoking a lord of the abyss. "It looks like he's coming for us, though," Enos added. Qinlai concentrated upon hearing her words, and he discovered that the spike devil shrouded in purple fog was rising swiftly towards their direction. The spike devil that looked a little vague at the beginning suddenly looked a lot clearer. It then let out a harsh-sounding roar. "This abyss devil looks like a first devil too," Enos said bitterly. "Spike devil is a low-rank abyss devil of the extermination abyss with an average bloodline rank of 3 to 4 only. The fact that this abyss devil was able to evolve to rank 9 probably means that it's going to be a difficult opponent. Should we find a way to avoid him?" "How do you suggest we do that?" Qinlai asked. "Don't you have the demon spirit of time and space's bloodline? This is the abyss passageway, a home ground of sorts for you. Can't you find a way with the bloodline inheritance you possess? Enos asked urgently. Meanwhile, the rank 9 Spike Devil was roaring like he was crazy. As the Spike Devil continued to charge towards Qin Lai and Enos, the light dots he passed through exploded one after another in astounding fashion. They were so powerful that they caused the Abyss Devil to roll round and round. Some of the spikes on his body were even shattered by the explosions. However, the Spike Devil's momentum towards Qin Lai and Enos had never changed despite its sorry appearance. It was gradually getting closer and closer to them. What prompted that guy to go crazy all of a sudden? Qin Lai asked with a confused look. Who the hell knows? Enos screamed. Zap! Suddenly, a bolt of lightning flew out of Qin Lai's chest, and the Thunder Emperor mark at his chest area burned hot. Roar! The Spike Devil roared angrily before purple lightning bolts burst out from his body and enveloped itself entirely. Shockingly enough, thunderous booms could be heard from the purple fog as well. The Spike Devil stared straight at Qin Lai's chest, or more specifically, the Thunder Emperor mark that was covered in lightning, with greed and hatred. Does a Spike Devil have lightning attribute bloodline? Qin Lai asked curiously. Of course they do. Enos replied. Boy, are you that damnable Thunder Emperor's inheritor? The rank 9 Spike Devil suddenly questioned Qin Lai using the language of the abyss. His eyes were filled with violence and madness. Thunder Emperor! Qin Lai shook as he looked down at the Thunder Emperor mark etched across his chest. Suddenly, he understood why the Spike Devil had come for him. This rank 9 Spike Devil had actually met the Thunder Emperor in the past. The Thunder Emperor mark on his chest was the reason the Spike Devil was acting so violently and bloodthirsty. Had the Thunder Emperor, one of the 3 emperors of the human race, gone to the extermination abyss and clashed against the Spike Devil in the past? A moment later, he voiced his question tentatively in the language of the abyss. How do you know the Thunder Emperor? So you are related to him? The Spike Devil roared angrily. Zap! Purple lightning bolts the size of rivers burst out of the Spike Devil's body before he charged straight towards Qin Lai. The Spike Devil's deep purple pupils were crawling with lightning, and his entire body was booming with the terrible noise of thunder. His fierce and forceful bloodline power was so great that even the brilliant lights adorning the interior of the abyss passageway had moved away from him as if they were subconsciously aware of his strength. Watch out! Enos screamed. Qin Lai's expression changed. He was well versed in heavenly thunder eradication, and he could sense a terrifying presence of thunder from the purple rivers. He immediately got himself ready to unleash his full power. Suddenly, Qin Lai's 8-eyed demon spirit bloodline turned incredibly active. The seemingly natural light specks, unknown stars, spinning whirlpools and light beams swimming around him burst into movement. An instant later, the world around him was fully enveloped in deep blue light. Rumble! The purple river of lightning created by the Spike Devil clashed fiercely against the blue light and triggered a massive explosion. The surrounding area was instantly flooded with shattered colors of purple and deep blue. The bloodline of the demon spirit of time and space naturally draws in the random energies existing inside the abyss passageway to protect you. Enos' eyes lit up with pleasant surprise as she said, Moreover, the demon spirit of time and space bloodline in you must be pretty high rank considering these reactions. The area between Qin Lai and the Spike Devil continued to explode furiously while she was speaking. The rank 9 Spike Devil kept attacking the natural disasters standing in his way, hoping to crush them with sheer power before getting close enough to Qin Lai to kill him. Qin Lai himself wasn't moving at all. In fact, he was closing his eyes, focusing all of his attention onto the 8-eyed demon spirit bloodline inside him and studying its changes. As he studied the deep blue bloodline crystals with his soul consciousness, he could vaguely see 8 dazzling light specks growing brighter where the bloodline had converged. Suddenly, he recalled seeing 8 brilliant balls of light inside the bloodline crystals back when he had awakened Star Abyss at Shattered Ice Realm as well. The 8 light balls seemed to be hidden deep within the 8-eyed demon spirit blood crystals. They looked like the eyes of an 8-eyed demon spirit, and they contained seemingly infinite wonders. Moreover, the core secret art of the eight-eyed demon spirit's inheritance and bloodline seemed to be tied to the 8 light balls as well. A blue starlight slowly but surely started to glow from Qin Lai's body as they became scattered inside 8 of his meridians. At first, the 8 starlights were only as big as a firefly. However, they began absorbing the unknown energies existing inside the abyss passageway immediately after they came to life. The 8 starlights started growing at a visible rate, bright and dazzling. Dozens of seconds later, after they had grown to the size of a ball, they flew out of Qin Lai's body and started circling around him. The unique and strange energies inside the abyss passageway surged in from every direction and flooded over Qin Lai like an invisible tide. Then, Qin Lai sucked in a deep breath as a burst of blue starlight suddenly appeared in his eyes. It was as if he was injected with an infinite amount of strength during that one instant. While spilling blue starlight from his body and surrounded by dancing sparks, Qin Lai looked at the spike devil and let out an angry shout. Boom! The blue river of light immediately poured down on the rank 9 spike devil's head, flooding it entirely. The purple fog that was firing purple lightning in all directions vanished into nothingness immediately. The only thing that came out of the blue sea of light was the reluctant roars of the spike devil. Qin Lai let out a snort before sucking in a deep breath, causing the 8 brilliant balls of blue light to vanish into his body in response. Let's go. He then ignored the spike devil, grabbed Enos and sank deeper into the abyss passageway. However, he was suddenly moving several times faster than before. They were moving so quick that even Enos was feeling dizzy as she stared at the scenery around her passing them by at the speed of light. She immediately realized that Qin Lai's movement speed inside the abyss passageway had somehow been improved to an unbelievable rate. In fact, it was way faster than when a rank 9 Lord of the Abyss had escorted her through the abyss passageway some time ago. When she recalled Qin Lai's trance and the strange phenomenons that were created by the demon spirit of time and space's bloodline and connected the dots, she realized that Qin Lai had probably just experienced an enlightenment and learned a couple of new tricks. He must be using some sort of special bloodline power to be moving this quickly. Her guess was correct. The Spike Devil's mad attempt to kill him had actually caused his bloodline to boil up in that moment. In fact, when the 8 light balls flew out of the deep blue bloodline crystals in his blood and into the open, he suddenly had the very strange feeling that he was the true master of the abyss passageway. The moment the thought had surfaced to his mind, the unknown energies existing inside the abyss passageway started pouring into him from every direction. To his surprise, these unknown energies were filled with some sort of broken soul tendrils. These soul tendrils belonged to the demon spirits of space and time who had perished inside the abyss passageway. Even now, bits and fragments of memories were occasionally entering his body. The memory fragments had immediately slipped into the deep blue bloodline crystals the second they entered his body. He had to examine them carefully to realize that the memory fragments had ultimately merged into the 8 starlights inside the bloodline crystals. Although the 8 balls of starlight embedded deep inside the bloodline crystals were hidden from view, they were clearly absorbing the leftover memories that were scattered inside the abyss passageway. That was how he came to be making his way towards the black hole that led to spirit realm while absorbing memories. The demon spirit of time and space. Time and space. The spirit race's bloodline also includes time and space, which is why great sage Xianxia had turned this race into their demon pet. It is because their bloodline characteristics are perfectly compatible with the spirit race's own bloodline. Qin Lai thought to himself, were the demon spirits of time and space killed en masse when the spirit race was trying to capture them? Why else would there be so many soul fragments in the abyss passageway? Suddenly, a terrible sorrow overcame him out of nowhere. He almost felt like he could see the vision of a carefree race suddenly being met with a tragic fate when the spirit race had attacked and wiped them out without warning. In the abyss passageway where the rank 9 Spike Devil were, tens of thousands of bolts of purple lightning, accompanied by roars of thunder, shot out of the blue sea of light. Long after Qin Lai and Enos let, the power of the blue sea of light subsided greatly. The Spike Devil finally managed to break free using its bloodline power. Once the Spike Devil broke free, it immediately searched for Qin Lai and Enos's shadows and gave wild howls. But Qin Lai and Enos had left long ago. The spike devil roared a while and released its soul consciousness to search. It gave up in the end and sank down in the abyss passageway. A while later, a small black hole appeared in front of the spike devil's enormous body. He stared at the black hole as his bloodline and soul power seemed to form a soul connection with someone on the other side of the black hole. Whoosh! Suddenly, Xianxia's figure appeared from the black hole the spike devil guarded. When Xianxia passed through the black hole, he glanced at the spike devil, his eyes shining with light. He asked using the ancient abyss language, "Who did you fight earlier?" He detected Qin Lai's weak presence from the spike devil. Xianxia was skilled in soul secret arts. When he had been in the origin world, his soul power was not affected by the absolute darkness, and he could feel the surrounding souls and beings. Qin Lai and the spike devil had just fought. The strange power that infuriated the spike devil carried a thread of Qin Lai's soul presence, the hint that Xianxia captured. The successor to the Thunder Emperor, the spike devil roared and continued his explanation. That person calling himself the Thunder Emperor harvested all the thunder energy in the extermination abyss where my race lived and destroyed our lands. I will not give up on him. Xianxia stilled and then understood. He was like the spike devil and once lived in the extermination abyss. His birth father was the great lord of the extermination abyss, the one to rule the extermination abyss. He knew the bloodline of the spike devil resonated with lightning and thunder, and knew the area that the spike devil lived was the place with the densest lightning and thunder in extermination abyss. This rank 9 spike devil had transformed step by step at that place, eventually becoming a rank 9 lord of the abyss. But as the spike devil tried to advance even further, an expert called the Thunder Emperor appeared and refined all the thunder energy in that place. Back then, all the spike devils together were not a match for the Thunder Emperor. They could only watch as the Thunder Emperor ravaged their home. After the Thunder Emperor left, the lightning and thunder that area had created was completely gone. Then, the spike devil race was forced to leave their home. This rank 9 spike devil used the abyss passageway to move through different levels to find another level suitable for his race to live in. Xianxia and this rank 9 spike devil met here because he had found another place with lightning and thunder suitable for the spike devil race. He wanted to use that land to make a transaction with the spike devil. "Xianxia, are you sure you found a suitable place for us?" the spike devil asked. Xianxia woke up from his thoughts and glanced at the spike devil. He said, "Where did the person fighting you go after?" "I don't know," the spike devil said. Xianxia frowned and immediately used Bloodline secret arts to search using Qin Lai's presence on the spike devil. After a while, Xianxia's eyes lit up. He murmured, "Qin Lai might have come for the black hole." "What did you say?" the spike devil said. "Nothing." Xianxia focused and said, "Come with me. However, you have to promise me. When you see the Thunder Emperor's successor, do not rashly attack." "Why?" the spike devil snorted. "Promise me you'll listen to me. Otherwise, we will separate immediately." Xianxia's face turned cold. "If I listen to you, will you find a place suitable for our bloodline to grow?" the spike devil asked. "Yes," Xianxia answered. "All right, I can listen to you," the spike devil responded. The two formed an agreement and sank down into the abyss passageway, Xianxia at the front as though he knew the location. At the same time, Qin Lai led Enos and flew rapidly through the abyss passageway. During this time, he also absorbed the memory fragments from the demon spirits of space and time scattered around the abyss passageway. He attempted to piece together the memories and comprehend the deeper mysteries of his bloodline. An unknown amount of time later, the demon spirit of space and time bloodline within him suddenly pulsed. A strange feeling formed from his bloodline and mind. He unconsciously slowed down and used the blue light to lead Enos to another area. That area flashed with black dots of light. When he looked closely, he found those lights were black holes of different sizes. Black holes were everywhere in the abyss passageway, but it was rare to see an area with such density. When Qin Lai and Enos got close, they found almost thousands of black holes in this small area, each of them giving off unstable spatial vibrations and leading to unknown places. "Is this what you wanted to find?" Enos said curiously. No. Qianlai shook his head and looked around in amazement at the many black holes. He said, Do not come close. I feel this place is dangerous. I might be safe, but if you enter, you may not be able to come out. Enos looked at the black lights, thought and nodded. All right, I will stay outside. Almost all areas of the Abyss passageway were filled with all kinds of dangers. But there was no explosions, no unstable spatial power, no cold wind that could destroy souls, and no strange corrosive power around the area they had come to. The surrounding area was so strangely calm, as if it was not a part of the dangerous Abyss passageway. Be careful. Qianlai took a deep breath and activated the bloodline power of the demon spirit of space and time. He covered his body with blue light and slowly entered the strange place filled with black holes. Just after 10 meters, he stopped with puzzlement underneath a fist-sized black hole. The demon spirit of space and time's bloodline inside him became unusually active, as though it was urging him into the black hole. He hesitated a long time and finally chose to trust the feeling. He turned into a blue beam of light and flew into the black hole. After a strong wave of dizziness, Qianlai came to a completely unfamiliar world. This world was made from pieces of icy blue stone. There was no sky or ground, only the icy blue crystals. The crystals clearly contained spatial power. This is. Qianlai stilled and felt with his bloodline power. He then saw the demon spirit of space and time bloodline grow even more active. When his bloodline activated, the blue crystals shone with blinding light. In a flash, the world was drowned by icy blue light, the turbulent spatial power, and strange spatial vibrations. Qianlai fell into a daze. A long while later, he recovered his wits and seriously examined the world in front of him. At this time, he felt he was within an enormous cavern. Pieces of blue crystal were hundreds of meters above his head. The surroundings walls were also crystal. Within this icy blue world, the demon spirit of space and time bloodline inside him became unusually active. Behind him, there was a black dot the size of a rice grain. The black dot was the black hole he came through that connected with the Abyss passageway. He suddenly frowned and almost exclaimed out loud. A few dozen meters ahead of him was the corpse of an enormous demon spirit of space and time. The demon spirit of space and time was almost the same as the eight-eyed demon spirit he had seen in the Sea of the Eastern Barbarians. However, the 8 eyes of the demon spirit of space and time had been cut away. Its eyes were replaced with 8 gaping holes. On top of that, there was no blood in its body. He observed closely and was sure the blood inside this demon spirit of space and time had been extracted before death. It was also the most likely cause of death. A demon spirit of space and time with its eyes dug out and drained of blood. Had someone deliberately put it here? Or had the 8-eyed demon spirit struggled before death and used a secret art to come to this place, at the cost of its soul dissipating? Qianlai frowned in thought. From the enormous size of this demon spirit of space and time, it should have been rank 10 when alive. A rank 10 demon spirit of space and time should have been a peak existence of its race. They had almost no natural enemies in the Abyss passageway. But this rank 10 demon spirit of space and time was dead, and had its eyes dug out and drained of blood. Was it the spirit race? The great sage Xianxia, one of the 3 blood and soul mentors. Qianlai's expression darkened. His eyes shifted as realization dawned on him. No wonder. Did the blood essence he gave me come from this demon spirit of space and time? When he and that great master Xianxia bade farewell at Sky-bearing City, the great sage of the spirit race gifted him a drop of blood essence, saying it would help his bloodline transform. Before he absorbed it, he had Lapu inspect it. According to Lapu, that blood came from a rank 10 8-eyed demon spirit. Through Enos's explanation, he knew what the spirit race called the 8-eyed demon spirit was the demon spirit of space and time of the Abyss passageway. Through that blood droplet of rank 10 demon spirit of space and time, the bloodline system it belonged to underwent complete transformation. He had successfully reached rank 8 bloodline and also awakened the Star Abyss bloodline latent ability of the demon spirit of space and time. Using this latent ability, he had conjured a Star Abyss that connected the Shattered Ice Realm and the Abyss passageway. letting Terror Devil King and Despair Devil King into Spirit Realm. And then, he felt instinctual call in the abyss passageway that led him to that place. When all the signs were linked together, he was sure the blood that the great sage of the spirit race had given him came from this dead demon spirit of space and time. Taking a deep breath, he walked solemnly towards the dead demon spirit of space and time and slowly approached its corpse. The closer he got, the more active his bloodline became. At one point, the 8 enormous balls of blue light flew out of his bloodline of their own accord. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The 8 enormous spheres fell towards the empty eye sockets of the demon spirit of space and time when they left his body and disappeared. Qianlai exclaimed. He found when the 8 balls of light entered the empty eye sockets of the demon spirit of space and time, blue light shone on the corpse of the demon spirit of space and time. The streams of blue light quickly gathered from within the enormous corpse of the demon spirit of space and time towards its 8 eyes. The previously empty eye sockets were now filled with blue light, which seemed to have taken the oculary function. At the same time, underneath Qianlai's 2 hearts, the bloodline crystal chains of all the demon spirits of space and time gathered. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In this strange world, many unknown powers he could not comprehend gathered from all directions, and ended where the bloodline crystal chains of the demon spirit of space and time were. The flesh cells in the affected area split at a visible rate, gathered and then became more powerful. Poof! A small sound that caused his entire soul to shake came from that position. In a flash, his entire body was in pain, the physical energy of his body flooding to that location. Strong surging vitality exploded. His tendons and blood vessels moved, twisted, and formed another organ. His 3rd heart. Boom! His soul and body shook violently. He could feel his entire flesh and blood energy flood his forming 3rd heart to help its formation. At this moment, the 8 balls of light that came from the demon spirit of space and time bloodline inside of him were absorbing the scattered memories and inherited secret arts of the rank 10 corpse in front of him. His original body was gathering enormous amounts of flesh and blood energy and making use of the turbulent energy in the cavern to grow his 3rd heart. The formation of this heart relied on the bloodline power of the demon spirit of space and time and would belong to the demon spirit of space and time bloodline. In this unknown world, Qianlai's soul was calm as everything followed the guidance of the bloodline without any resistance. He allowed the bloodline of the demon spirit of space and time take over his rationality. He let the inheritance of a race continue in this bizarre method. An unknown amount of time later, the 8 balls of light that had flown into the 8 eye sockets seemed to have obtained everything and returned to him. At this time, his 3rd heart had truly taken place in his body. The bloodline crystal chains that had been scattered in his blood, which belonged to the demon spirit of space and time, gathered at his 3rd heart. And so did the 8 blue light spheres, in the ancestral land of the spirit race. Within a deep valley shrouded in countless lights, there were many enormous crystal balls. The balls were dozens of meters in diameter and filled with colorful liquids, shining under the bright sunlight. One of the crystal's balls had blue liquid, and the bottom of the crystal ball was covered in icy blue crystals. Those crystal pieces shone like jewels and had strong spatial vibrations. Inside the crystal ball, 8 shining eyes floated among the icy blue crystals. If Qianlai was present, he would realize the blue liquid inside the sphere was the blood of the demon spirit of space and time. The 8 shining balls inside were its missing eyes. At this time, the 8 shining eyes suddenly crashed against the crystal ball. Blue rays of light battered the spherical walls of the crystal ball. The blood of the demon spirit of space and time became unusually wild. A spirit race female child with a ponytail suddenly flew from the distance. She glanced at the changes within the crystal ball and hurriedly sent a message outside. A while later, Great Master Xianxia, also known as the Great Sage of the Spirit Race, appeared. "Master, look!" the female child said urgently. The great sage Xianxia looked towards the 8 eyes hitting the ball and frowned as though he was calculating something. He then took out a staff covered in jewels and pointed at the crystal ball, shooting out a thin film of light, covering it. Inside the crystal ball, the demon spirit of space and time's 8 eyes seemed to be frozen in place. Great sage Xianxia took back his staff. After a while, he murmured, I didn't expect the boy would find your corpse so soon. Master, why have you always kept it? The female spirit race child asked. Its bloodline and eyes contain the laws of space and time power. When Indigo grows some more and her bloodline reaches rank 10, she can attempt to analyze the secrets within. Great sage Xianxia smiled and said, whether the spirit race can become the top of the 4 transcendent bloodline races in the next million years will depend on how high Indigo's bloodline will go. Thus, I need to prepare anything that can increase Indigo's bloodline beforehand to ensure her smooth progress to rank 10. Only then will the future fate of the spirit race be completely changed. In the abyss passageway, Inos stood next to the area of the black holes, bored. Her purple eyes flashed and she looked gravely behind her, shouting, Spike Devil! The rank 9 Spike Devil that Xianxia had trapped previously appeared from afar and was slowly getting closer. Inos looked towards where Xianxia had disappeared and then at the Spike Devil, hesitating. At this time, another presence came from behind the Spike Devil. Xianxia! Inos was shocked. Inos! Xianxia was also shocked and said, Why are you here? Why are you with the Spike Devil? Inos asked curiously. Xianxia stilled and said, Half of my blood belongs to the Abyss Devil, and I come from the Extermination Abyss, which is also where this Spike Devil comes from. Isn't it normal that we know each other? Where is the boy? The Spike Devil shouted. You came for Xianxia? Inos reacted and raised her guard. What do you want? You also want to attack Xianxia just like the Spike Devil? Of course not. Xianxia shook his head. I want to see Xianxia for other matters. Also, the Spike Devil promised me he will not attack even if he sees Xianxia. The Spike Devil snorted and did not disagree. Inos looked in puzzlement at them, hesitated and then pointed at the area of black holes. Xianxia went over there and entered one of the black holes. He hasn't come out yet. I've been waiting for a long time here. I don't know when he will come out or if he will. So that's how it is. Xianxia thought for a moment and said, Then I will wait with you. Inos frowned. What do you want with him? I'm very curious why you are with him. Based on my knowledge in the origin world, your relationship with him didn't seem very peaceful. Xianxia snickered and said, Don't forget that Xianxia's fiancé is in 9 Hell's Purgatory. You are stealing from Miss Ling like this. Aren't you worried she will come for you? Pausing, he ignored Inos's ugly expression and continued. Your father is powerful, but Ling Yusher's bloodline source is the devil monarch of 9 Hell's Purgatory. Are you sure you are not causing trouble for your father? Do not worry about me, Inos said coldly. Xianxia laughed and said, I'm just warning you out of concern. Wouldn't want you to play with fire and get burned. Your call. Stop wasting your words. Inos snorted. Xianxia laughed but spoke no more. He waited at the border of the area of black holes with Inos. In another space, the 8 balls of light flew out of the demon spirit of space and time's body and disappeared into Xianxia's new heart. Xianxia closed his eyes and sat down, feeling the changes in his body. That rank 10 demon spirit of space and time corpse turned into dust and dissipated. It seemed to have merged with this strange realm, becoming pure power. A long time later, Xianxia woke up, his expression puzzled and dazed. Blurry scenes seemed to fly out of his bloodline and appear in his mind. He stood for a while and sighed. He seemed to understand what cruel things had happened to the native race of the Abyss Passageway. A moment of silence later, he looked at the empty demon spirit of space and time and said, I will do my best to gather your scattered memories and remnant souls. Whether I can recover the prosperity of the demon spirit of space and time race, I cannot guarantee it. Leaving these words behind, he disappeared through the rice-sized black hole. In the next moment, he appeared within the Abyss Passageway and saw the Spike Devil and Xianxia. His expression changed slightly and thought that Inos was being held hostage. Do not misunderstand. Xianxia saw Xianxia's expression and knew he had misunderstood. He hurriedly explained, I have not done anything to Inos, and I also have no malicious intent towards you. Xianxia, walking out of the black hole area, heard him say this and his expression eased slightly. However, his eyes were still wary as he looked at the Spike Devil and said to Xianxia, "Why are you with this Abyss Devil?" The Spike Devil howled lowly, thick murderousness in his savage purple eyes. Xianxia snorted. "Do not forget our agreement." The rank 9 Spike Devil suddenly remembered he needed Xianxia to search for a new home for the Spike Devil race. The Spike Devil's anger immediately subsided. "I was born in the Extermination Abyss, and he is from a race of the Extermination Abyss, so I know him," Xianxia explained. He continued, "According to him, an expert calling himself the Thunder Emperor completely damaged the place where the Spike Devil race lived and refined all the thunder and lightning the race required to live. He recognized the mark on your chest to have belonged to this man. That person destroyed his homeland and forced the Spike Devil race to search for a new place to live. Therefore, he hates everything related to that person." Xianxia explained on behalf of the rank 9 Spike Devil and told Qianlai what the Thunder Emperor had done in the Extermination Abyss. Qianlai listened silently. Once Xianxia finished, he said, "I do have a mark on my chest from the Thunder Emperor, but I have never met him and do not know what he did in the Extermination Abyss." He turned to the Spike Devil. "You can seek revenge, however. The result will be the same as earlier." "Arg!" the Spike Devil howled. Xianxia shouted at him, "Leave us alone and wait for me. I have something else to discuss with him. If you truly want to find a place suited for the Spike Devil race, you will follow my instructions. Understand?" The rank 9 Spike Devil was unwilling but still left under Xianxia's threat. When he was far, Xianxia's expression was serious as he said, "I smelled your presence from the Spike Devil. When I learned you were in the Abyss Passageway, I used a secret art to follow as I want to tell you some information." "What?" Qianlai stilled. Xianxia thought for a moment and said, "You and I fought side by side in the Origin World. Also, I was able to leave the Origin World later because of your arrangements with the remaining Winged Race clansmen. Therefore, I feel both I and the Winged Race owe you one." Qianlai's expression eased, and he said, "You are welcome. I came to tell you Thamer of the Soul Race and Octan of the Spirit Race's Sartorius family are still alive, and both are currently hidden in the Abyss Passageway." Xianxia did not hide anything and said, "I do not know how Thamer and Octan managed to survive. I only know they hate you greatly. They should have heard that a black hole that leads towards Spirit Realm has appeared in the Abyss Passageway, so they came. Because they know that Spirit Realm is your homeland. They want to use the Abyss Passageway to go to Spirit Realm and get revenge. Other than Thamer and Octan, there seem to be some other Soul Race clansmen and some survivors of the Sartorius family that the Spirit Race hadn't finished off. Their forces are powerful. While they may not be able to make waves in Spirit Realm, they are enough to defeat you." Hearing Xianxia's description, Qianlai's expression was dark as he frowned. Enos asked, "The Spirit Race didn't manage to kill the Sartorius family completely?" The Sartorius family is a strong one among the Spirit Race families, and because of Octan's existence, many of the experts of Spirit Race have sided with them and feel they can rise again. Xianxia had a serious expression. Just after what Octan did in the Origin World was leaked, before Indigo returned, the Sartorius family seemed to learn they were exposed and left the realms of the Spirit Race early. While they were attacked a few times in their retreat, they did not lose many people. After that, the members of the Sartorius family disappeared, and no more news of them came. No one knew where they've gone. The Winged Race only recently learned that they have met with Octan and Thamer. They are in the Abyss Passageway and moving towards the black hole connected to Spirit Realm. They are going to gather their entire family to go to Spirit Realm. Enos's eyes flashed with purple light. She thought and then said to Qianlai, "The Sartorius family and the Soul Race experts should not just be targeting you by going to Spirit Realm." "Oh," Qianlai stilled. "They are most likely coming for the secrets hidden in Spirit Realm," Enos said confidently. Qianlai nodded slowly. Soul Race. He believed that the Soul Race clansmen led by Thamer were primarily headed to Spirit Realm for the spirit artifact he was in possession of. Also, they might be searching for the first prince of the Soul Race. Not good. He sighed inwardly. As a black hole connecting to Spirit Realm opened, the news about Spirit Realm suddenly spread among the levels of the Abyss. Many Abyss devils, as well as foreign races, were greatly interested in Spirit Realm. At this moment, the 5 families of the God race disappearing into Spirit Realm caused the other invading races to believe that Spirit Realm had secrets they weren't aware of. Spirit Realm suddenly became a fat piece of meat in the eyes of the other races. The 4 transcendent bloodline races and even smaller races like bone and winged races wanted to investigate Spirit Realm. That black hole connecting to Spirit Realm immediately became important and the focus of attention to all races. Qianlai woke up from his thoughts a while later and said to Xianxia, "Thank you for telling me the news." Xianxia snickered. "Why are you in the Abyss passageway?" "Alright, don't tell me. If you are not going to that black hole, you won't be in trouble." "My goal in coming to the Abyss passageway is precisely that black hole," Qianlai said coolly. At the words, Xianxia's expression changed slightly. He grimaced. "Then your chances of encountering Octon and Thamer will increase greatly. The threat of the Abyss passageway will multiply several-fold." "I will be careful," Qianlai said. "Right. After leaving the Abyss passageway, if I want to find you, where do I go?" Xianxia suddenly thought of this when bidding farewell and said, "Maybe the winged race can discuss allying with the races of Spirit Realm. If you do not mind, I hope to have at least a way to maintain communication with you." He grinned and said, "That way, if I get some interesting news, I can notify you." Maintain communication. Qianlai frowned and thought how to respond. The Frost Desolation Abyss. Ino smiled and said, "If you want to find Qianlai, you can come to the Frost Desolation Abyss to find me. If you can find me, I can communicate with Qianlai." She knew where Kadak's territory was. There were Qianlai's eyes there, and she could tell Qianlai through his people. Qianlai, who hadn't know how to answer, smiled and nodded hearing her say this. "Enos can reach me." Xianxia stilled and looked thoughtfully at them. He nodded and said, "I understand." He then bade farewell to Qianlai and left with the rank 9 Spike Devil briskly. "Xianxia shouldn't have malicious intent," Enos said. Qianlai frowned. "I hadn't thought that Thamer and Octon would enter the Abyss passageway. Thamer and Octon, even if they encountered some great opportunity, would just have reached rank 8 bloodline. They are nothing to fear." Enos's expression grew serious as she said, "However, the soul race experts and the Sartorius family of the spirit race are terrifying, right?" Qianlai nodded. "What plans do you have?" Enos took a deep breath and said, "Thamer, Octon, and the powers behind them, and the Abyss devils who are interested in that black hole will all gather there. Your goal is to destroy the black hole connecting to Spirit Realm. Once you go near, will you be immediately killed? Don't worry. Right now, there shouldn't be many things in the Abyss passageway that can kill me." Qianlai shook his head and said, "As long as I am careful, I believe I can achieve my goal and leave unharmed." Enos saw his confidence and did not persuade him further. She nodded and said, "Good. I will accompany you. If you are determined, I will stay with you." Qianlai looked deeply at her and said, "You do not have to accompany me." Enos said with a smile, "This is my choice." "All right," Qianlai said. After this, he activated the demon spirit of space and time bloodline and blitzed through the Abyss passageway, Enos by his side. He drew closer to the black hole connected to Shattered Ice Realm. At the same time, he was gradually digesting the fragmented memories he had obtained from the rank 10 demon spirit of space and time within that strange world, and attempted to comprehend more secrets of his bloodline and the Abyss passageway. He was observing the bloodline inside his third heart, trying to probe the changes and mysterious power hidden within. From the blue crystalline chains, he could see the 8 balls of light and knew that they used to have a special connection to the eyes of the demon spirit of space and time. He attempted to use his soul and learn their secrets. He gathered his soul consciousness, turning it into a beam invisible to the naked eye and shot towards the 8 balls of light as though he was penetrating the layers of the soul-suppressing orb. Pew! Suddenly, 1 ball of light gave off shining blue light. In a flash, his 1-level soul altar flew out of his mind and floated in front of him. Countless rays of blue light flew out of his pores and splashed onto the glowing soul altar. Boom! His mind shook. His soul consciousness and the origin world immediately formed a connection. The enormous soul shadow belonging to his soul altar suddenly appeared above the clouds of the origin world, as if it was a deity looking down on the mortal world. He could see the origin world changing, as well as minuscule changes in its elemental laws. In that moment, Qianlai felt as if he was a god, and everything in the origin world could change based on his mind. What surprised him the most was the flashing blue power gathering at the center of the origin world. It was like an enormous drill digging a bottomless hole through the sky and earth of the origin world. Abyss passageway. The abyss passageway. His enormous soul shadow looked at the change in the origin world and screamed, "Abyss passageway! Abyss passageway!" Suddenly, the origin world gave off reverberating roars. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. What he didn't know was, as his soul shadow saw the transformations in the origin world, the abyss passageway also saw some astounding changes. The countless powers that only existed in the abyss passageway flooded towards the top of the abyss passageway like a waterfall in reverse. In the strange world covered in blue crystals where he had gone before, the pieces of blue crystal suddenly evaporated as though they had been extracted of all their spatial power. In this moment, all the beings in the abyss passageway, abyss devils, the god race, the spirit race, and the soul race, were all astounded by the enormous change in the abyss passageway. Even the great lords of the major abyss levels, including the devil monarchs of the bottom 8 levels, frowned. Those terrifying existences that could cause their respective abyss levels to shake with a stomp of their foot woke up from their long, secluded cultivation sessions. The strongest great lords of the abyss, as well as the devil monarchs of the 8 purgatories, looked with intelligent eyes through the limitless space towards the place in the abyss passageway where blue light gathered. That area was the top of the abyss. After 3 million years, the abyss finally has gotten a new, 109th level. The abyss has birthed a new level. A completely new abyss level. The abyss, after 3 million years, has new life. In the many abyss levels, the rank 10 great lords of the abyss and the devil monarchs of the 8 purgatories probed the changes in the abyss with their bloodlines and marveled inside. They all felt the same thing. After 3 million years of slumber, the abyss had finally given birth to a completely new level. Without Qianlai knowing, all of the abyss was thrown into uproar. The peak experts of the abyss were paying attention to the origin world that resonated with his soul altar. The appearance of the origin world in the abyss passageway meant that the origin world became a completely new abyss level with its own set of laws. At the beginning, the abyss hadn't had 108 levels. Most of the levels in the present abyss had formed gradually afterwards. The abyss hadn't given birth to a new level for too long. Many high-rank abyss devils had forgotten the abyss level they lived in now had formed slowly. The most obvious feature about the birth of the new abyss level was that the abyss passageway would join it with the rest of the abyss. This created a special connection between the origin world and the rest of the abyss. Those devil monarchs and great lords of the abyss would immediately feel it. They detected the changes in the abyss immediately. When Qianlai's origin world connected to the top of the abyss passageway and the mysterious light drilled through its heaven and earth, the origin world had become a true abyss level. The news spread through the abyss. A new level was born, the 109th abyss level. Qianlai's soul shadow looked down on the minuscule changes in the new level of the abyss like an ancient deity. He saw billions of mysterious specks of light coming from the abyss passageway. They seemed to contain seeds of life and quickly spread through the origin world and disappeared, soaked up by the world's earth like a sponge. Deep in the origin sea, countless light fragments fell like rain into the deep purple water. They merged into the origin sea, becoming its eternal part. The origin sea came to life, its water boiling, absorbing the power capable of spawning life. Pew pew. Gradually, the origin sea became boiling purple lava that gave off enormous amounts of purple abyss devil energy. A rice-sized black dot suddenly flashed in the boiling origin sea, and a ripple of life came from that small dot. Soon, a demon insect many times smaller than the demon armor insects appeared on the surface of the origin sea. That small demon insect looked around dazedly and was washed towards the shore as the origin sea boiled. When it was washed up, it twisted its small body and crawled upwards, absorbing the deep purple abyss devil energy as it searched for anything edible to eat. The shadow formed by Qianlai's soul gradually appeared above the origin sea and looked at its changes. A little life born from the origin sea. The lowest demon insect. Not even an abyss devil. Glug glug. As the origin sea boiled, enormous bubbles appeared. When those bubbles popped, they released even thicker abyss devil energy. The life-carrying specks of light that had come from the abyss passageway seemed to be slowly transforming as they landed in the origin sea. Soon, some other strange little insects appeared from the origin sea and were washed to the surface. Short grass filled with abyss devil energy suddenly grew on the land close to the origin sea. Qianlai's soul shadow was like an eye in the sky, observing the newly born plants and insects filling the new abyss level. Once those strange plants grew up, they started to absorb the abyss devil energy and grew rapidly. The little demon insects that had washed up from the origin sea saw those plants and immediately went over to feed on them. The little demon insects became energetic and powerful after eating, waving their claws and shouting weakly. Some stronger demon insects felt they had enough power and started to fight each other. The winning insect would consume the loser entirely. One demon insect who finally obtained victory left the origin sea's shore and went to a safe area to coil up and start its first bloodline transformation. Qianlai's soul shadow slowly shrunk and floated above the demon insect. The transforming demon insect seemed to instinctively feel his existence. Its small body suddenly bowed to the ground, kowtowing to him to show its submission. Qianlai's soul shadow felt the small demon insect's terror and awe. This was the instinctual fear that the lowest of abyss devils would feel when they encountered a powerful ruler. Qianlai's soul shadow looked at the small demon insect, this little thing that didn't even count as an abyss devil, and had a strange feeling. This was his people. He seemed to understand. His soul shadow floated away from the small demon insect back into the sky of the origin world. He felt the changes in this abyss level with his soul. A long time later, he gradually recovered and looked towards the abyss passageway, and the specks of light spraying in all directions. He realized the moment this origin world connected to the abyss passageway, it truly started to change. The penetration of the abyss passageway caused this origin world to connect to the other abyss levels. Then the mysterious passageway spread the seeds of life. These seeds might have come from the abyss passageway or other levels. They entered the ground, the origin sea, and through absorbing the abyss devil energy and other powers of this level, they had either taken roots and became plants or entered the origin sea and became the lowest and most basic of beings of the abyss. The abyss plants and those small demon insects caused this origin world to flourish with life. This moment onward, this origin world was capable of nurturing life. That meant it could no longer be classified as an origin world. It was a true abyss level. He suddenly realized the abyss levels right now were mostly the result of origin worlds. Even those great lords of the abyss, including the devil monarchs of the 8 purgatories, at the beginning, were the small demon insects he saw. He believed the small demon insects, if they could survive the bloody battles, would transform their bloodline and one day become the preliminary lords of the abyss, and even the rank 10 great lords of the abyss. A completely new abyss level. His soul consciousness surveyed the abyss level, feeling the strange transformations, his thoughts moving. Flaming sun. Let it be called the Flaming Sun Abyss, he thought. Flaming Sun Abyss. After he thought this, the soul altar that rose from his body and was made from the origin crystal suddenly shone with light. Threads of his soul within the one-level soul altar suddenly turned purple and twisted together furiously. Not long after, 2 ancient characters of the abyss were imprinted on his soul altar with his soul threads as ink. At the same time, his second heart started to beat strongly. The deep purple abyss devil race bloodline gathered at his second heart boiled like the water of the origin sea. The deep purple bloodline chains twisting and gradually turning into the 2 ancient characters. His soul altar and second heart's abyss devil race bloodline both transformed as his thoughts moved. At this moment, the new abyss level and the origin sea that was giving birth to new abyss beings changed as well. Flaming Sun Abyss. Flaming Sun Abyss. Flaming Sun Abyss. The great lords of the various abyss levels all felt this. In this moment, they all knew the 109th level of the abyss was named Flaming Sunday, at the top of the abyss passageway. The rank 9 and rank 10 abyss devils came out of nowhere and gathered. These abyss devils who were famed in the abyss levels roared as they charged towards the top of the abyss passageway. They were all abyss devils at the level of the lords and ruled over other abyss levels. However, none of them had truly ruled an abyss level. Howl! They roared, releasing their bloodline power, as their mighty bodies charged towards the top of the abyss passageway. They attempted to charge into the newly formed Flaming Sun Abyss. Purple layers of light made from the laws of the abyss suddenly formed at the top of the abyss passageway and came down. Those rank 9 lords of the abyss and rank 10 great lords of the abyss were burned when touched by the laws of the abyss, their bodies flaming up. These powerful abyss devils howled in pain as they fell from the top of the abyss passageway. Their bodies were wounded to various degrees. The creator of the Flaming Sun Abyss only has a rank 8 bloodline. Damn it! A rank 8 was able to have the abyss passageway penetrate the origin world and turn it into a new abyss level. The new abyss level is protected by the core laws of the abyss. All abyss devils above rank 8 bloodline are unable to enter Flaming Sun Abyss from the abyss passageway. Only abyss devils with the bloodline rank equal or lower to the creators can enter the Flaming Sun Abyss through the abyss passageway. But it's too dangerous for abyss devils below rank 9 to travel through the abyss passageway. The lords and great lords of the abyss gathered to charge into the Flaming Sun Abyss and kill its creator, devouring their heart. If they killed the heart of the abyss devil that had created the Flaming Sun Abyss, they would replace them as its master. These abyss devils were not true rulers of their abyss levels. There were usually more powerful abyss devils with more powerful bloodlines ruling over them. Unless those stronger abyss devils died, they had no hopes of becoming the masters of their respective abyss levels. Due to this, once they found Flaming Sun Abyss was forming, they gathered here and attempted to barge into the Flaming Sun Abyss through the abyss passageway. They would kill Qianlai, eat his heart, and replace Qianlai as the master of the Flaming Sun Abyss. But they were obstructed by the core laws of the abyss. In order to protect the creator of the new abyss level, the laws of the abyss would stop all invaders with higher bloodline rank than the creator. The laws were fair. Because Qianlai's bloodline rank was only 8, the core laws outside Flaming Sun Abyss would stop any invader with rank 9 or 10 bloodline. None of the abyss devils that had come were below rank 9. Thus, all of them had been stopped. They had not expected the creator of the newly formed Flaming Sun Abyss to only have rank 8 bloodline. This had never happened before in the history of the abyss. They could not overcome the fundamental laws of the abyss and forcefully enter the Flaming Sun Abyss from the abyss passageway. After cursing their rotten luck, they left. Below the abyss passageway, Qianlai's floating soul consciousness gradually returned. At the same moment, the glowing soul altar quickly disappeared into his glabella. He took a deep breath, opened his eyes, and found that his soul altar and his abyss devil race bloodline were all imprinted with 2 ancient abyss devil characters. Flaming Sunday, Flaming Sun. He murmured, purple lightning flashing through his eyes as he blinked. At this time, no more blue lights were flooding in the top of the abyss passageway. He looked around and found he didn't move an inch. He found Enos looking at him strangely. "What is it?" he asked. "I saw the 2 ancient characters, I know. A new level has formed in the abyss." Enos looked deeply at him and said, "Even my father was forced to wake up from comprehending the laws of the abyss. He told me the new abyss level is called Flaming Sun." Qianlai frowned and said, "It was because of me." As expected, Enos was extremely excited and shouted, "After 3 million years, the abyss finally has a new level, and your bloodline should only be rank 8 right now." "Yes," Qianlai nodded. "Ha!" Enos couldn't help but laugh and say, "I think that the lords and great lords of the abyss gathered in the abyss passageway must be cursing right now, cursing the founder of the Flaming Sun Abyss for only having a rank 8 bloodline." "What do you mean?" Qianlai was puzzled. A new abyss level would face great challenges. If abyss devils of similar or lesser rank enter the new abyss level and kill its creator, eating their heart, they can replace the creator and become the level's master, Enos explained. But the abyss has its own laws. Those abyss devils with strength surpassing the creator will be affected by the abyss and stopped outside the new abyss level. Only abyss devils of rank 8 and below can enter the flaming sun abyss. But such weak abyss devils can't travel to the top of the abyss passageway without fatal danger. Due to this, you might be the safest abyss creator in history. In the abyss passageway, a gigantic black cloud floated slowly. The bright specks of light and chaotic spatial power that were ever present in the abyss passageway, as well as wild energy explosions, would be destroyed if they approached the black spheric cloud. Terrifying power sprouted outwards all the time from the black cloud. Suddenly, that black cloud that was quickly sinking towards the bottom of the abyss passageway stopped. Inside the black clouds, dozens of spirit race clansmen looked up towards the top of the abyss passageway. A new abyss level has formed. One of the older spirit race clansmen had a hooked nose and dark eyes, giving people a dark and evil feeling. He looked at another person and snorted. If you were able to kill Indigo in the origin world, our family would not have had to leave our home and be in such difficult strait. And you or Thamer would have been the creator of the newly formed abyss. This was my mistake, the person responded respectfully with a bowed head. If Qianlai was here, he would immediately recognize the speaker was Octon of the spirit race's Sartorius family. At this time, Octon had an expression of obedience facing his grandfather's scolding. He said, "I will do my best to make up for this." The patriarch of the Sartorius family, Narration, looked coldly at Octon and said, "Your bloodline has also reached rank 8. That Qianlai must be the creator of the newly formed Flaming Sun Abyss. If there are no surprises, his bloodline rank should also be rank 8. You have a chance now." Octon's eyes lit up and he shouted, "I can take over the Flaming Sun Abyss." "Yes," Narration said gravely. At this time, wisps of blue flame moved from the other side of the black cloud. One of the soul shadows changed and released Thamer's soul presence. He came next to Narration and Octon and said, "The creator of the new Flaming Sun Abyss should be Qianlai. Based on Qianlai's bloodline advancement rate, he should have reached rank 8 recently." Before he stopped speaking, Octon reacted and said, "You also want to go to the Flaming Sun Abyss and attempt to kill Qianlai?" Thamer snickered and said, "Based on the laws of the Abyss, if anyone of the same rank can kill the creator and refine their heart, they can become the new master. You two both lost to Qianlai in the origin world. I hope you will grab the chance this time," Narration said coldly. "I will do my best," Octon shouted. "Go!" Narration nodded and said. Thamer's soul and Octon's shadow flew away from this black cloud at his nod of agreement. Thamer and Octon, who had left the origin world and received an unexpected opportunity for their bloodlines to reach rank 8, seemed at ease as they moved through the abyss passageway. They went straight for the top of the abyss passageway. Within the black clouds, two soul beasts suddenly appeared in the direction Thamer had come from. Those soul beasts were naturally occupied by soul race experts. The two soul race clansmen slowly came to Narson's position. One of them asked, "Our plans do not change? We're still headed for Spirit Realm." Narration thought for a moment and said, "We will wait for a while by the black hole." "Good," one of the soul race clansmen responded. Then, the two soul race clansmen retreated back into the darkness. That enormous black cloud still carried the Sartorius family members and soul race experts towards the bottom of the abyss passageway. "Where is the black hole located? How long until we can reach it?" Within the blue light, Enos looked at the flashing light around her and asked, seeing Qianlai's casual expression. "Soon." Qianlai narrowed his eyes and smiled coolly, saying, "Do not worry. If I can reach its vicinity, I can use the bloodline power of the demon spirit of space and time and erase that black hole from the abyss passageway. The abyss devils going towards Spirit Realm cannot connect to the star abyss of Shattered Ice Realm and cannot return from Spirit Realm. Won't Despair Devil King and Terror Devil King kill millions of Spirit Realm's denizens?" Enos said curiously. She had never gone to Spirit Realm but from the human race, Azura race, and other races clansmen in the Frost Desolation Abyss. She could see the combat power of the races of Spirit Realm was far weaker than the Abyss Devil races. Terror Devil King and Despair Devil King were two famed Devil Kings of the Abyss and could rival her father. She thought that if Terror Devil King and Despair Devil King couldn't return to the Abyss, it would not be a good thing for the races of Spirit Realm. Do not underestimate the races of Spirit Realm. Qianlai thought for a moment and said, there are some races of Spirit Realm that are always in a rapid state of growth. Some of the experts, through contact with the God race and Soul race, have left Spirit Realm 20,000 years ago, walking among the stars. Only you do not know of them. The Thunder Emperor that the Spike Devil spoke of is an expert like that? Enos realized. Qianlai smiled, nodded and said, yes. The three emperors of the human race should have the strength to fight the Terror Devil King and Despair Devil King. I hope I will have the chance to go visit Spirit Realm, Enos said with eagerness. Qianlai hesitated and said, if your father does not rashly invade Spirit Realm, if we can maintain a good relationship, I'd gladly welcome your visit in Spirit Realm. Enos smiled. It's certainly possible. In an area where blue lights gathered, there were many black holes of various sizes. This was a strange area of black holes similar to the one Qianlai had encountered before. Many Abyss Devils were gathered in this area, and shouting loudly as though it was a marketplace. Many of the high-rank Abyss Devils occasionally looked towards the top of the Abyss passageway and hesitated, wondering if they should try their luck at Flaming Sun Abyss. A new Abyss level. If I can kill the Creator and refine their heart, I can become the new master of that level. I hear that place called Spirit Realm contains an ultimate secret of the universe. Even Terror Devil King and Despair Devil King have gone there. Should I go to Spirit Realm or the Flaming Sun Abyss? The Abyss Devils gathered here talked in the language of the Abyss excitedly. Some other races which were not Abyss Devils were also gathered around other parts of the black hole area, as though they were discussing something. Among them were the Bone and Winged races clansmen. As they talked, Qianlai and Enos descended from the Abyss passageway above. Qianlai, who deliberately activated the Abyss Devil race bloodline of his second heart, was shrouded in Abyss Devil energy. He released the ancient energy of the Abyss and caused the pair to look like two high-rank Abyss Devils. The many Abyss Devils and other races clansmen gathered there did not react to their arrival. They only thought the pair was just another two Abyss Devils. The black holes of various sizes gathered together as though they contained innumerable secrets. It was strangely calm around those black holes. There were no bright beams of light and fatal explosions threatening their lives. Many Abyss Devils and experts of foreign races were scattered around the black holes, looking at one particular that seemed to have been specially marked. That black hole had threads of purple blood that clearly belonged to the Abyss Devil race. What is that? Enos asked. She knew that Qianlai, who possessed the demon spirit of space and time bloodline, wasn't just the creator of the Flaming Sun Abyss. He also created the black hole connected to Spirit Realm. Qianlai led her from the Frost Desolation Abyss all the way here with a clear target. He obviously could feel the true location of the black hole through the demon spirit of space and time bloodline. Yes. Qianlai nodded. What do you prepare to do? A hint of worry flashed through Enos's purple eyes. She said, so many Abyss Devils and experts of other races are gathered here. They all want to enter Spirit Realm through the black hole. If they detect you destroyed the black hole, would they spare you? Qianlai frowned and said, I will be careful. He focused on the people gathered around the black hole to Shattered Ice Realm and were observing it. He was curious why those people hadn't hurriedly passed through the black hole to Shattered Ice Realm. He listened to the conversation of the Abyss Devils. The Abyss Devils here were from different levels, mostly rank 9 and 8. None of the rank 10 Great Lords of the Abyss had come. This was clearly unlike the Abyss Devils gathered below the Flaming Sun Abyss. For the rank 10 Great Lords of the Abyss, a new Abyss level was more attractive than the rumors about Spirit Realm. The Terror Devil King and Despair Devil King had entered Spirit Realm out of coincidence. They had seen the sudden formation of the black hole during fighting and entered out of curiosity. Qianlai had deliberately activated his Abyss Devil race bloodline, and his eyes and hair had turned dark purple. Standing next to Enos, they both looked like ordinary high-rank Abyss Devils. The Abyss Devils scattered about thought of them as their own, and were not cautious about speaking. He listened for a while and quickly understood why they were not in a hurry to enter. The Abyss Devils who had come from the Icestone Abyss had sent 3 Abyss Devils in to avoid any accidents. The other Abyss Devils waited here for the 3 Abyss Devils to guarantee there was nothing wrong on the other end and notify them before they entered. They worried there was a trap at the other end of the black hole. The 3 Abyss Devils who had entered first hadn't returned to the Abyss passageway yet. Due to this, the Abyss Devils gathered here, and the other races started to doubt the black hole. Then, Abyss Devils of other levels entered the black hole as well, but none of them returned. The other Abyss Devils did not dare to rashly enter. Then, the sudden formation of the Flaming Sun Abyss had disturbed the Abyss Devils there and divided their attention. They became more hesitant and wavered between going to the Flaming Sun Abyss and Spirit Realm. Shattered Ice Realm? Had something happened over there? Otherwise, why haven't the Abyss Devils returned? Xianxia thought. A black cloud flashing with lightning suddenly appeared in the Abyss passageway above. That black cloud fell towards the area with black holes and gave off waves of powerful bloodline presence. Spirit Race. A rank 9 Lord of the Abyss snorted. A rank 10 Spirit Race member is hidden within, an elder of the Winged Race shouted. These words alarmed the gathering of Abyss Devils. As the black cloud almost fell into the black hole area, the thick black mist on the perimeter gradually dissipated. Spirit Race clansmen with blue hair and eyes appeared in the black mist. The leader was an old Spirit Race clansman with a dark expression. It was Octan's grandfather, the patriarch of the Sartorius family, Narration. The Sartorius family of the Spirit Race. Haha, they have recently been chased by the Spirit Race and driven out of the Spirit Race's realms. They have nowhere to hide. Going to Spirit Realm to hide is a good idea. Yes, they can only stay in a place like the Abyss Passageway and Spirit Realm to avoid the pursuit of the Spirit Race. The Spirit Race has an extraordinary spirit seed, and caused the Sartorius family's plans of ruling the Spirit Race to come to a close. They attempted to kill the Spirit Race genius. They are so narrow-minded. The Abyss Devils from the various Abyss levels saw the Sartorius family incomers and started to mock them. Sartorius family. Xianxia looked at the incomers and frowned slightly, instinctively searching for Octan's tracks. If Octan was present, he and Enos would be immediately recognized. Fortunately, after glancing at the Sartorius family members, he still couldn't see Octan. He was slightly reassured. At this time, he had not yet destroyed the black hole. If Octan delayed him, it would affect his plan. If Spirit Race clansmen of Narson's level targeted him, he would be in even greater trouble. Suddenly, he felt something and looked towards the black hole area. Blue light shrouded one of the small black holes. Tall figures suddenly appeared from that black hole. Behind those figures was the small indigo who walked out last. This was another group of Spirit Race clansmen. The great sage was right, the Sartorius family really came here, shouted the present patriarch of the Spirit Race, Assad. Behind Assad were several dozen Spirit Race clansmen, including 3 rank 10 bloodline warriors. Assad! Narration shouted angrily. The Sartorius family members saw Assad and the Spirit Race experts appear and paled. They suddenly realized their plan of going to Spirit Realm was within the calculations of the great sage Xianxia. Maybe the news that the black hole was connected to Spirit Realm had been purposefully spread to lure them here. Everyone, the Spirit Race is going to punish traitors. Make distance, Assad shouted. The winged and bone races, as well as some smaller races, moved aside at the Spirit Race patriarch's shout. Only the rebellious Abyss Devils ignored Assad. Xianxia and Enos had originally wanted to dodge, but seeing the Abyss Devils motionless, they could only awkwardly stay where they were. At this time, a bright gaze came from behind Assad. That gaze came from Indigo. Under that gaze, Xianxia grimaced and had an even more awkward expression. Indigo! Enos exclaimed in a soft tone. She knew that it was unlikely for her and Xianxia to remain hidden now that Indigo was here. Indigo and Xianxia were close back at the origin world, so there was no way he could conceal his presence from her even after he had activated his Abyss Devil race bloodline and presented himself in the shape of a high-rank Abyss Devil. Therefore, Enos thought that Indigo would expose Qianlai at first notice. But contrary to her expectations, Indigo only glanced at Qianlai once before shifting her gaze to Narration of the Sartorius family. That was the last time Indigo glanced at her and Qianlai. It was almost as if they never knew her in the first place. A moment later, Enos suddenly realized what was going on and said to Qianlai, "It looks like you're closer to Indigo than I thought. I didn't think she would pretend that she didn't recognize you." Qianlai himself was wearing a look of surprise. Indigo knew that he had claimed an origin crystal for himself. Naturally, she would be entirely right to guess that he was the reason behind the newly formed Flaming Sun Abyss. Since he was the creator of the Flaming Sun Abyss, plenty of rank 8, rank 9, and even rank 10 Abyss Devils had started treating him like prey. All Indigo needed to do was to expose him, and the rank 8 and rank 9 Abyss Devils around him and Enos would jump them right away. If any one of the Abyss Devils had successfully killed him and consumed his heart, they would become the new master of the Flaming Sun Abyss. The rank 9 and rank 10 Abyss Devils couldn't kill him outside the Abyss passageway because they were restricted by the laws of the Abyss. Therefore, the simplest and most direct method to replace Qianlai as the new ruler of the Flaming Sun Abyss was to kill him there and then. There weren't many Abyss Devils who could resist the lure of becoming the master of a newly formed Abyss level. This was the same for Indigo or the Spirit Race Clansmen. Even they could be tempted to kill him and obtain an entire Abyss level to themselves. Indigo had obviously recognized him, and all she needed to do was to tell her grandfather Assad about him, and he would be captured and killed. She would obtain everything he ever had. But not only did she do no such thing, she even pretended not to know him at all. No wonder even Enos said that he was close to Indigo. Qianlai's gaze skipped past the Abyss Devils and the Spirit Race Clansmen to look at Indigo, just like the rest of the foreign experts around him. Indigo was wearing a blue dress with a hem that was adorned in gemstones. Not only did the gemstones look dazzling and tempting, they were clearly no ordinary objects considering the fearsome energy that was rolling off them. Indigo looked as pretty as a doll, and now that she was growing up she no longer looked as childlike as before. She now looked a little like an adolescent. Her clothing and personal adornment were all absolutely gorgeous. It made her look like a fairy in blue clothes who had descended from heaven. The spirit race experts beside her were all at rank 9 or rank 10, but from the way they guarded and cherished her, it was clear that her safety and well-being were their prime target. Indigo was already extremely beautiful in her own right, and the way the spirit race experts grouped around her only made her look more noble and attractive. Many high-rank Abyss Devils, Bone Race Clansmen, Winged Race Clansmen, and more were secretly observing her and talking among themselves quietly. That girl is the spirit race's transcendent spirit seed. She's an abnormal existence who possesses all 4 attributes of time, space, fate, and life. And she is the first spirit seed like that in the history of the spirit race. She's Assad's granddaughter, and her existence has never been revealed until recently. If she hadn't gone to the Darkness Abyss to gain experience and showed her bloodline abilities inside the origin world, no one would have even heard about her. The Sartorius family was jealous of her insanely powerful bloodline. That was why they had sent Octon into the origin world to attempt to assassinate her. Unfortunately, Octon failed in his attempt, and the Sartorius family was forced to move out of Spirit Race's territory. They had nowhere to go. That was why they had tried to hide and recuperate in Spirit Realm. In the end, though, they couldn't escape Great Sage Xianxia's machinations. The foreign experts said while observing Indigo in secret. Great Sage Xianxia's machinations. Qianlai raised an eyebrow at this comment. Could it be that Great Master Xianxia had purposely gifted him a drop of the rank 10 demon spirit of time and space's blood? Could everything be a part of Great Sage Xianxia's plan? Qianlai subconsciously looked around him when the thought had entered his mind. He suddenly had the feeling that Great Sage Xianxia was watching his every move right now. Assad, you'd better not stop me from traveling to Spirit Realm. The chief of the Sartorius family, Narration, snorted coldly before saying, if you can pave the road for your granddaughter and assist her to become the next chief of the spirit race, Then why can't I plan out a future for my grandson, Octon? His shady gaze swept across Indigo once before he continued. Plus, I don't believe that she must become the next chief just because she has multiple bloodline attributes. The girl is too young and soft. Even if she has an astounding number of bloodline attributes, I still don't think she's smart enough to lead our race to a whole new level of glory. Just because you don't believe in her potential doesn't mean that everyone else thinks the same thing as you. A rank 10 bloodline expert behind Assad spoke up in a chilly tone. Plus, you still shouldn't have sent Octon into the origin world to assassinate her no matter what. You tried to murder our race's spirit seed. That is the one thing we absolutely cannot accept. Another spirit race rank 10 bloodline warrior said. 10 spirit race bloodline warriors including Assad blocked the way in front of the black hole. It was clear that they had no intentions of letting the Sartorius family travel to spirit realm safely. Meanwhile, the Sartorius family only had 2 rank 10 bloodline experts in total, including Narration. On the surface, it seemed like they were utterly inferior to Assad's group. What do you want, Assad? Narration asked. Surrender and come back with us to our ancestral land. Your refined blood will be used to nurture our demon pets, and in return, I promise to keep the Sartorius family bloodline alive, and not harm anyone in your family who's below rank 8. Assad said in a heavy tone. I see. So you want to use our power to improve your demon pet's rank and bloodline energy. Narration chuckled oddly before turning his head suddenly. What do you think of this plan, my friends from the soul race? Suddenly, a pitch-black cloud appeared from behind the Sartorius family. 2 soul beasts slowly appeared from the pitch-black cloud. They were even bigger than the ones Xianxia currently possessed. They were both rank 10 soul beasts. The blue fire in the soul beast's eyes gradually turned brighter. A ghost fire flew out of the soul beast's glabella and transformed into a shadow that looked like a wisp of green flame. What do you think of your chances of success if we are to join forces with them? Assad? The soul race's second and third prince? Assad's expression changed. It's the imperial soul monarch's 2 sons. Some of the abyss devils had turned pale with shock too. A tremor had suddenly coursed through Xianxia's body as well. Not only did the 2 soul race clansmen possess 2 rank 10 soul beasts as flesh puppets, the soul-suppressing orb in his head had suddenly turned hot and unbearable in their presence. The spirit race chief, the soul race's princes, the abyss devils, the bone race, the winged race, and more. Suddenly, the black hole that lead to spirit realm had become one of the most dangerous places in the universe. If these powerful races were to all enter spirit realm through the black hole he had created with his bloodline, he didn't dare to imagine the consequences. Not even the 3 emperors of the human race would be able to handle this many invaders, would they? This problem was one of the biggest headache Xianxia had experienced in his life. He was really starting to regret his reckless action of connecting Shattered Ice Realm to the Abyss Passageway. It had caused so much unexpected troubles. Swoosh, swoosh. Suddenly, 2 figures flew out of the black hole that led to Spirit Realm. Han Che. Bing Hui. An elderly man among the winged race exclaimed. The damnable god race has shown up as well. An abyss devil yelled angrily. Assad, Narration, and even the 2 soul race princes had suddenly frozen in indecision when they saw Han Che and Bing Hui. Everyone was staring at the 2 god race clansmen at this moment. Of course, Han Che and Bing Hui, who were trying to reconnect with the other 4 god race families, were equally shocked to find so many old friends gathered at one place when they had arrived. What's going on? Why are you all here? Han Che asked in a daze. Then, his attention turned to Xianxia, who was slowly trying to shift backwards and hide among the abyss devils. How come you're here too? Xianxia. And where's Mia? Han Che felt more and more uncertain as he stared at the many familiar faces before him. He and his people had been waiting for news to return from the spatial passage recently. However, the 4 god race families had never replied to them. Having received his orders from Han Che, Bing Hui had gone to the spatial passage they came from to take a look. He immediately discovered that the location the spatial passage was supposed to connect to was gone, replaced by a whole new space that was completely unfamiliar to him. It was at that moment Bing Hui realized that the profound family's arrival at Shattered Ice Realm 2 years ahead of time was probably not a lucky coincidence, but a trap. After that, Abyss Devils kept popping out of the Star Abyss at Shattered Ice Realm. The Abyss Devils had immediately engaged the profound Ice family experts standing guard at the entrance in battle the moment they saw them. Of course, the low-rank Abyss Devils stood no chance against so many rank 10 Bloodline warriors. Realizing that they had been trapped in Shattered Ice Realm, Han Che turned his attention to the Star Abyss and went in with Bing Hui. He had hoped to reach a God Race territory from the Abyss passageway and re-establish communication channel with the other families. However, the first thing that greeted him immediately after he emerged from the portal was the faces of the Soul Race, the Spirit Race, the Abyss Devils, and even the Bone Race and Winged Races. Everyone was gathered at this one place, and Han Che was struck by a bad feeling when he saw this. Qin Lai's presence had only made Han Che even more confused than before. Mia had left with you, hadn't she? If you're here, then where's Mia? Han Che's face turned cold as he stared at Qin Lai with eyes that as cold as ice. Also, if that spatial passage that connects to Shattered Ice Realm really is the work of the Blaze family, then why can't we contact the rest of our clansmen? Boy, don't you think you owe us an answer? Bing Hui was wearing an unfriendly look as well. Qin Lai? He's Qin Lai. Assad of the Spirit Race was caught off guard. A moment of surprise later, Narration suddenly came to realization as he yelled, "He's the guy who stole the Origin World from Octon." The guy who stole the Origin World? A rank 9 Abyss Devil pondered over his words for a moment before yelling, "Doesn't that mean he's the creator of the Flaming Sun Abyss?" The moment Han Che had spoken the name Qin Lai, Assad and Narration had immediately figured out his identity one after another. Even the Abyss Devils had burst into commotion. For a time, everyone's gaze was focused on Qin Lai. "It's him." The souls of the two princes shook violently. They started stretching their soul tendrils towards Qin Lai. Qin Lai's identity as the creator of the Flaming Abyss was exposed because of Han Che's one line. Every Abyss Devil who had wanted to travel to Spirit Realm earlier went mad with greed the moment his identity was confirmed. Hee. Roar. The group of rank 8 and rank 9 Abyss Devils stared at him like a pack of wolves would stare at a lone sheep. Shit. Qin Lai swore inside his head. "Where's Mia?" Han Che snorted coldly before yelling, "Get out of my way, you damn Abyss Devils." He abruptly fired a blast of icy light at Qin Lai. Every Abyss Devil within Qin Lai's vicinity was caught in the blast as well. Bing Hui was also doing the same thing. He wordlessly stabbed a blast of icy light straight at the group of Abyss Devils. The two profound Ice family members had gotten angry because Mia wasn't right by Qin Lai's side. They had both assumed that Qin Lai was a traitor to the God Race. "Grandfather, he's my friend. He once saved my life at the Origin World." Meanwhile, Indigo pleaded urgently to her maternal grandfather. Assad looked confused. "He's your friend. If he hadn't helped me, I would have been killed by Octon and Thamer in the Origin World already." Indigo begged him with a pitiful, almost tearful look on her face. "Grandfather, I owe him my life." Originally, Assad was going to focus all of his strength onto Narration and the two Soul Race princes. However, he hesitated when he heard Indigo's request, and saw the two profound Ice family members losing their cool. While Assad was still stuck in indecision, the Abyss Devils standing next to Qin Lai and Enos had been caught by the blast. The icy blast, imprinted with the laws of absolute frost, swung down on their heads without mercy. All rank 8 Abyss Devils who were touched by the icy blast were instantly frozen into ice. Even the rank 8 Abyss Devils could only excrete thick Abyss demonic energy from their bodies and resist the attack with their bloodline power. "Let's go." Qin Lai grabbed Enos and changed his bloodline in an instant. Suddenly, a large amount of ice blue light spilled out of his body. When the light blue screen wrapped around Enos and Qin Lai, the duo suddenly flashed away like a bolt of blue lightning from right under Han Che and Bing Hui's noses. "Eh!" Assad let out an exclamation of surprise. What a pure demon spirit of time and space aura! Narration of the Sartorius family and the two Soul Race princes suddenly froze in surprise when they saw how Qin Lai was making his escape. It was clear that they weren't expecting Qin Lai, a mere rank 8 bloodline expert, to move as fast as he was inside the abyss passageway. It's the presence of a demon spirit of time and space. Narration let out a snort before saying, "We are inside the abyss passageway. Only the demon spirits of time and space can move faster than any other races here. How did he come to possess the presence of a demon spirit of time and space?" The second prince voiced his curiosity. "According to my knowledge, he's a mixed blood between a human and a god race clansman. Logically speaking, he shouldn't have the blood of the abyss devil race in him. However, it is also a fact that the origin world he had stolen had evolved into the Flaming Sun Abyss. Does this make any sense to you?" Narration countered. Both the princes of the soul race fell silent when they heard this. They had thought that their race's holy artifact, the soul-suppressing orb, would never acknowledge someone of another race. However, Thamer had confirmed that the soul-suppressing orb was in Qin Lai's possession right now. Somehow, this man was able to acquire the acknowledgement of the soul-suppressing orb, transform the origin world into the flaming soul abyss, and possess the aura of a demon spirit of time and space. There were too many things that broke the common sense here. It made them more and more curious about Qin Lai. "Bing Hui, find him and bring him to me," Han Che yelled. The rank 10 Bing Hui looked upward before nodding seriously. "I will." After that, he took off in a beam of icy light and chased after Qin Lai and Enos. Han Che, patriarch of the profound ice family, hadn't really lost all of his reason and didn't chase after Qin Lai himself. Instead, he took out his family's flesh-filling tombstone and embedded a wisp of his soul origin inside it. "My name is Han Che. The profound ice family seems to have fallen into a trap, and we're currently being trapped inside Spirit Realm. I need the Blaze family to confirm if a boy named Qin Lai is really part of their family immediately." Han Che sent out his soul message using the flesh-filling tombstone. The soul thought floated straight towards an unknown black hole in a way that couldn't be detected even with the soul and vanished without a trace. At an unknown space of the outer realms, there were many giant starships flying through the infinite stars like star beasts. For brawny and robust-looking men seemed to pass through a series of light tunnel before suddenly appearing inside the room of a starship. They were all clansmen of the god race. 3 huge tombstones had immediately flown out of the body of 3 men the moment they had appeared. The tombstones had crisscrossing lines of blood on their surface, and they were emanating ripples of soul energy from time to time. They hovered quietly above the 3 men's heads. The 3 tombstone holders were narrowing their eyes and perceiving something with their soul. A very long time later, Wuxia of the Light family grabbed the flesh-filling tombstone from the air and stuffed it back into his body. "It's Han Che." He looked at the only man who hadn't produced a flesh-filling tombstone and explained, "The profound ice family has entered Spirit Realm ahead of time," and the way Han Che had phrased it, it was a trap. Not only that, he said that Qin Lai, a member of your family, seems to be the mastermind behind everything. He also has Mia in captivity. Right now Han Che is inside the abyss passageway, and he wishes to know what sort of relationship the Blaze family and that rather reputable Qin Lai share. The other 2 men had put away their flesh-filling tombstones and were staring inquiringly at Lian Zhao as well. "Qin Lai is that person's grandson," Lian Zhao replied indifferently. Lian Zhao was a brawny man with red hair that reached past his shoulders. His entire body emanated with heat that made him feel like a volcano that was constantly spewing lava at every moment. "For now, this Qin Lai has no relations to the Blaze family, but I have no idea what the future brings either." Lian Zhao pondered for a moment before continuing unhurriedly. "Some time ago, that person had visited me and asked for that ancient life tree. And how if the Darkness family looked interested?" "You mean the Spirit Realm would race his ancient life tree?" "That's right," Lian Zhao replied. Wuxia and Kuang Ju of the Bloodthirst family shot a look of puzzlement at him simultaneously. Both the Light family and Bloodthirst family hadn't participated in the invasion of Spirit Realm 30,000 years ago. Therefore, their knowledge of Spirit Realm was half-baked at best. They didn't know what that ancient life tree represented, but and how was different. As the patriarch of the Darkness family, He knew many secrets relating to Spirit Realm because he had fought alongside Lian Yuan 30,000 years ago. Moreover, he also used to be close friends with Lian Yuan. In fact, he knew Lian Yuan better than Lian Zhao, the current patriarch of the Blaze family himself. The Spirit Realm's ancient life tree contains an extremely mysterious life force. The wood race of Spirit Realm is in fact born from the ancient life tree. And Hao looked down and pondered for a moment before continuing seriously. Back then, he had come to the conclusion that the ancient life tree is connected to the life origin. After a careful examination, the ancient life tree is also the final piece of the puzzle that is the perfect blood project. And Hao fell silent after that. He looked like he was digging deeper into his memories. The other three patriarchs waited quietly for him to speak up again with solemn expressions. The silence lasted for a long while before Hao finally continued. Unfortunately, the perfect blood project he had set in motion back then had failed before he even reached the stage where the ancient life tree could be used. And Hao looked up, and his dark, lightless eyes seemed to flash once. If he's asking for that ancient life tree now, does that mean that project has reached the final phase? All three God Race patriarchs raised their eyebrows at Hao's assumption. That doesn't sound too likely, does it? Kuang Ju of the Bloodthirst family shook his head. No one has heard of him for the past 20,000 years, and no one knows where he's hiding at. If the project was a success, he would have returned home openly and retaken everything he had lost. In fact, the elders would be happy to appoint him as the new leader of our race. He would have been able to reassume control of everything. If that project really does succeed, then our race may just be able to become the absolute ruler of the infinite universe in 100,000 years. Yu Shi of the Light family inhaled once before continuing. If what you're saying is true, then there is nothing that can stop him from making an impressive return. Not only will he become patriarch of the Blaze family once more, we ourselves will happily recommend him as the God King of our race. God King? And Hao tugged at the corner of his lips. No doubt he has coveted the throne since a long time ago. Had he succeeded in conquering Spirit Realm completely, increasing the Blaze family's strength to a certain threshold using Spirit Realm and completing the perfect blood project, he would have definitely had a chance to become the God King of our race. The throne has been empty for far too long. I will deliver him myself if he is able to prove his ability. Kuang Ju's lips split into a wide, sinister grin. Of course, he would have to work harder to prove his worth. He must also resist a combined attack from all four of us before he can truly make it to the God King's throne. While the four patriarchs were still discussing with one another, Han Che was hesitating about something inside the abyss passageway. He thought long and hard about the matter, but he ultimately let out a sigh and sent another soul message to the four patriarchs through the flesh-filling tombstone. At first, he was planning to keep the secret to himself and use it to benefit Mia and the Profound Ice family. Unfortunately, Mia had gone missing since, and Qin Lai had shown up at exactly the black hole that led to Spirit Realm. Moreover, the Profound Ice family was currently trapped in Spirit Realm, and Qin Lai was clearly acting in an untrustworthy manner. He wouldn't have ran away immediately after he saw him and Bing Hui otherwise. He had no choice but to reveal the important secret. And Hao, Yu Shi, and Kuang Ju took out their flesh-filling tombstones again after they sensed the new message. They executed a secret art to listen to Han Che's message. What? This time, all three patriarchs had turned pale with shock and screamed before they realized it. Their eyes continued to shine with the light of disbelief, and they looked absolutely excited even after they had withdrawn the flesh-filling tombstones. What is it? Lian Zhao asked. That Qin Lai has awakened the Profound Ice family bloodline and absolute zero, Yu Shi exclaimed. Lian Zhao shook violently in response. There had never been a God Race clansman who possessed multiple bloodline attributes. Not a single one. The most basic prerequisite of the perfect blood was that all 5 bloodline attributes must appear on a single person. This was also the aspiration behind the perfect blood project. However, back when Hao was still in Spirit Realm, the only result he saw were semi-successful test subjects who came to possess the bloodline traits of some races in Spirit Realm. Moreover, every youngster who had been experimented on and granted some additional bloodline traits all died in a short time. Not a single one of them were able to live for long. In the end, the repeated failures and the massive amount of deaths incurred in both the Blaze family and the Darkness family drove and how to turn against Lian Yuan. He came to believe that the Perfect Blood Project was a mistake from the beginning, and that there was no longer any need to continue it further. From that moment onwards, he had become the enemy of Lian Yuan. Some Blaze family members had also thought that Lian Yuan was a madman because of the many deaths of their kin. While the 100 races of Spirit Realm were uniting as one to drive both the Darkness family and Blaze family away from Spirit Realm, the God race was in fact already imploding on the inside. Moreover, it was an internal strife that couldn't be resolved in any way. Lian Yuan was pushed aside by both An Hao and the Blaze family members who had come under Lian Zhao's rule. Moreover, An Hao and Lian Zhao's activities were secretly approved by the other 3 families who hadn't taken part in the invasion. The elders all believed that the project had failed, and that there was no need to continue it any further. Moreover, they believed that Lian Yuan had unshirkable responsibility regarding the massive deaths behind the project. Originally, Lian Yuan was supposed to be trialed publicly after the God race had evacuated from Spirit Realm. However, he had used the excuse of protecting the God race's retreat and vanished during his battle against the experts of Spirit Realm. To this day, An Hao, Lian Zhao, Wuxia, and Guangzhu all believed that Lian Yuan had left because he knew that he would face a public trial the moment he returned home. He hadn't wanted to resign himself to his fate. In reality, that was the truth. In the end, all of Lian Yuan's troubles had started because of the project's failure. Not only had he expended much resources to gather the blood essences of every race in Spirit Realm, he had driven the 100 races into rebellion with his atrocities, and even murdered many of his kin when his kind had already had difficulty reproducing in the first place, all for the sake of continuing the project. However, there just wasn't light at the end of the tunnel. Despite all the time and sacrifices he had made, he wasn't able to prove that it was possible to focus all 5 bloodline attributes of the God race on a single person. That was the biggest reason why the elders of the God race had ultimately chosen to give up on the project. Once the elders were certain that the project was doomed, they started pursuing Lian Yuan for his failures. Everything had turned out the way it was because of his failure. Things would have been very different otherwise. Things were different now, however. Not only did they receive news that Xianxia, Lian Yuan's grandson, had somehow awakened the profound Ice family bloodline. He had even awakened a core ability, Absolute Zero. This was enough to prove that the project wasn't a complete failure after all. He was asking for the ancient life tree, wasn't he? Does that mean that the project has truly succeeded? Lian Zhao looked dazed. Were we wrong? Would we have benefited from the project if we had just given him a bit more time? And Hao inhaled deeply before he declared, "This matter is of the utmost importance. I suggest that we speak to our elders immediately. In addition, Xianxia must stay alive, whatever his relation to the Blaze family is." Wuxia added, "I will contact Han Che immediately and inform him to keep Xianxia alive. As for his daughter Mia," and Hao's eyebrows wrinkled once before he continued, "I think she's far less important than Xianxia." Agreed. 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 All 3 patriarchs nodded in succession before urging and Hao to send the message to Han Che immediately, demanding the latter to keep Xianxia alive at all costs. Abyss Passageway. After Xianxia had activated the demon spirit of space and time bloodline in his body, he covered tens of millions of kilometers of distance in an instant, all while carrying Enos. The demon spirits of space and time were born in the Abyss Passageway. That was why their flight speed far exceeded any other races as long as they remained inside the spatial hub when their bloodline power came active. Even the rank 10 Bing Hui flying at top speed wasn't able to catch up to Xianxia. Swoosh! Suddenly, Xianxia stopped at a black hole cluster and stared at one particular black hole. It was the same place where he had obtained the soul fragments of the rank 10 demon spirit of space and time earlier. The black hole led to a strange world filled with ice-blue crystals. "How did we come back to this place?" Enos exclaimed in surprise. Frowning, Qianlai didn't answer her question immediately. Instead, he circulated his bloodline power and extended several wisps of blue tendrils towards the black hole cluster. SSS. The moment the blue tendrils reached the cluster of black holes, they immediately triggered a series of blue sparks. The blue threads that was formed using the demon spirit of space and time bloodline energy started slipping into the black holes and piercing them like needles. Qianlai himself was slowly closing his eyes. When the blue threads entered a certain black hole, the scenery on the other side of the black hole immediately appeared inside his mind. It was a bloodline secret art he had acquired after inheriting the rank 10 demon spirit of space and time inheritance. It was called Star Perception. Thanks to star perception and the blue threads, the sceneries on the other side of the black holes were transmitted as images into his head. As a result, he had a clear idea what kind of world was residing behind the mysterious black holes. Most of the worlds the cluster of black holes were connected to were desolate and lifeless spaces. Moreover, most of them didn't contain any kind of natural energy at all. They looked like galaxies that had perished since a long time ago. The demon spirits of space and time were born inside the abyss passageway. They were natural explorers of the infinite universe. Not all of the worlds existing inside the abyss passageway were formed naturally. In fact, a large majority of these spatial whirlpools that were connected to the outer realms had been created by the demon spirits of space and time themselves. A powerful demon spirit of space and time could spend its entire life digging tens of thousands of black holes of varying sizes. Although there was no limit to the types of worlds the black holes were connected to, their origin points were normally clustered. The black hole cluster in front of him was none other than the base of explorations of the rank 10 demon spirit of space and time. Even the black hole that led to Shattered Ice Realm had existed amidst the cluster of black holes built by another powerful demon spirit of space and time. The demon spirit of space and time almost never fought among themselves. They almost always had a private zone of their own. Powerful demon spirits of space and time normally dug black holes between their zones so that they could communicate and interact with each other as well. What this meant was that there should be a black hole among these black holes that could take them straight back to where Indigo and the others were gathered. In fact, he had just absorbed this piece of inheritance while he was deciphering the rank 10 demon spirit of space and time's fragmented memories not long ago. Will that profound Ice family expert be catching up to us soon? Enos couldn't help but ask. Still closing his eyes, Qianlai said, "He will, but it will take him some time." Enos relaxed after hearing Qianlai's affirmative reply. Then she asked again, "You could have teleported straight back to the Flaming Sun Abyss using the bloodline ability you've gotten from the demon spirits of space and time, right?" Qianlai nodded. "I could, but if I did that I wouldn't be able to accomplish my objective and destroy the black hole that connects the abyss passageway to Spirit Realm." Surprised, Enos said, "Does that mean I'm working on it?" Qianlai said. Enos finally understood what Qianlai was doing. That was why she fell silent and stopped disturbing his concentration. Qianlai's eyes had never opened once throughout the conversation. After Enos had fallen silent, he continued to explore the different realms using the blue threads. Many of the spaces these black holes were connected to were literal death zones. They were filled with unbelievably destructive explosions. Moreover, these explosions were so scary that even a rank 10 Great Lord of the Abyss would perish immediately. He knew that these particular black holes were traps left behind by the demon spirits of space and time. Every black hole cluster contained a nest a demon spirit of space and time had constructed for themselves. The dark blue world he saw where the demon spirit's corpse was hidden was none other than its nest. In order to protect its own nest, the demon spirit of space and time had made sure to also construct black holes that led to instantaneous death traps. Anyone who entered these black holes recklessly would turn to ash in an instant. The purpose of these murderous black holes was to confuse their pursuers and cover up the demon spirit of space and time's nest. It prevented the enemy from searching through the black holes one by one and discover its true world. Only a member of the race could use the Bloodline's secret art, Star Perception, and probe these deadly black holes with a thread of bloodline power. This way, they wouldn't need to risk their lives. ZZZT. When the blue threads entered black holes that led to literal zones of death, they would perish all of a sudden. This meant that Qin Lai had lost a tiny portion of his bloodline energy. However, that wasn't the only bloodline thread he had. He was exploring multiple black holes using multiple bloodline threads at once, and he could easily withdraw them and search the next unexplored black holes if he had missed his target. Qin Lai swiftly searched through the black holes using the demon spirit of space and time bloodline power. The sceneries bloomed and died in his head in a series of flashes. Swoosh! Finally, a familiar scene appeared in his head all of a sudden. Han Che of the Profound Ice family was holding a flesh-filling tombstone, as if in communication with a complicated expression on his face. The rank 8 Abyss Devils who were caught in the ice blast remained frozen just like before. The rank 9 Abyss Devils were still roaring and fighting off the god race's power of absolute frost. Assad of the spirit race was looking downward and saying something he couldn't hear to Indigo. Narson and the other 2 Soul Race clansmen looked upward where the Abyss passageway was and wondered if they should make a trip to the Flaming Sun Abyss first. Everyone else, such as the Bone Race and the Winged Race, were quietly moving away from the transcendent bloodline races so as not to get caught in their conflict in case anything were to happen. I found it! A blue thread sneakily swam through the black hole cluster before shooting toward the black hole where Han Che and Bing Hui had come from. Amen. Indigo was conversing with Assad when she suddenly raised her eyebrows as if she had sensed something. The reason she could sense this was because the origin of Qin Lai's bloodline was none other than her mother's own demon pet. Moreover, that demon pet had spent many, many years taking care of her. Blue eyes lighting up, Indigo stopped talking with Assad and focused all of her concentration on the impossibly thin blue thread. She watched as the thread finally entered the black hole Han Che had come from. ZZZT. Suddenly, the black hole that connected the abyss passageway and spirit realm glowed dazzlingly with light. The ball of light wriggled and shrank to the size of a rice. Then, it expanded in an instant and burst into smithereens.